It's a chilly 34 degrees, cloudy, winds coming out of the west-southwest 9 mph, dew point 29, moon phase waning crescent. And if you can believe it, it's Friday once again. He did it. It's Friday once again. Let's go. We're a little early here. Show supposedly starts 1:30. Also had the hat tip my man David Lynch. The anniversary. How you guys doing this fine early afternoon? AKA morning, AKA evening. However it is that you live. 1 year today, the GOAT. Yeah, the wing enjoyers are arriving to the big flats. Revolucy. You love Fire Slayers, but no more Foot Heroes, please. Yeah, that's what every single army in the game says, including mine. I mean, we could do for a centerpiece. Everybody could do for a centerpiece, but some of the troop choices are a little sparse, you know. Put together your Acon trade binder. Oh, he's trading? I should bring a little shoebox for trades. I guess I can switch to Tankin Tapa, Deska Tapa, right? Here it is. It's on mute. Let's see what the sound is like.
It felt it.
Sound check.
Nick literally just stated, I need this guy to one-tap this greater demon. I need it to...
Literally. He stated. We got 22 minutes until the big show. One of two. There will be two shows today with an intermission in between them because I'm not finished with the layout yet. I'm working on it. We're working on it over here. All right.
Good job, King.
For the top PC games, a meeting of the minds happening at 6 o'clock normal show time. Sunshine and Black, things with the tier 1 ogres. 50 months. Probably not. I'm going to be honest. Even if there weren't some educated guesses as to what we're seeing tonight, this afternoon, I don't think it's just too early for ogres. We just had a huge release with the Helmsmiths of Hashish. Too soon, Executus. Yeah, it's a lot of boys. A lot of boys. Who's ready for the Silent People announcement? Dude, Silent People when? When are we getting the Shadow Elves, Malerian? How's 40K doing? Oh, 3 big birds. Yeah, there it is. Dispossessed. Honest answer, how hard would you get an ogre relaunch that actually looks good? I might have to switch to the cam. I'm going to have to switch to camera at the last minute. You know? Oh, where's my Burger King crown? I'd have to, quickly go and get the Burger King crown for a proper reaction image, you know? Maybe I should prepare that. But it's just so unlikely, you know? Ogres relaunch, Monkey Paw Curls, but they're all smaller than Stormcast. You know, you joke, but the Bloodpelt Hunter is incredibly small. And the new Ogre Tyrant is pretty small as well. I'm hoping, I hope they remember the bigness. Just remember, if you can. Nurgle was pretty cool too, though, yeah. Nurgle was a good release. Helmsmiths of Hashish. Isn't the city ogre pretty tall? Yeah. The size of ogres they've released are kind of all over the place. I'm hoping they go big, obviously. Maybe an ogre-sized cheeky tease. What are the educated guesses? I actually can't remember. I'm going to be honest. I can't remember. Somebody said, oh, we know such and such is going to be revealed. And it just went in one ear and out the other because it wasn't ogres. Orguk war clans. So we can further consolidate destruction to as few tomes as possible. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they just must not be selling at all if we're combining tomes. To me, if you're combining battle tomes that should be 2 or 3 into 1, it means they're all not selling very well. Or perhaps one is selling well and the other isn't. Like, that, just from a product point of view, that's what that tells me. Which is too bad. I think they deserve their own things. He has access to better nutrition and stretching. City is also probably breeding ogres for height. Haven't caught one of these in a while. Yeah, we're getting a little Warhammer preview in about 20 minutes. Currently lying in bed post-tonsillectomy. This evening is the highlight of your week. Hey, keep on with those popsicles or whatever they're giving you. No big deal. Just got to sleep it off. The KFC Open round 1. You want to see the main refresh go to 50 mil, but also low-key hope they get a half-hour chaff unit on 40 so they can still proxy your old stuff. Yeah, I guess that's an issue, right? You want to have people be able to use their old stuff as much as possible. Well, maybe you don't want that. I guess it depends on what part of the company you're in, right? Like if you're in the... Depending on which building of the company you're in, you either want people to be able to use their old stuff or not be able to use their old stuff at all, so they have to buy new stuff. Setting aside how wise any of those decisions may or may not be. Watch them re-release Bone Splinters before they update Ogres. Ready for them to announce that Gutbusters are moving back to Old World. Snowy Ogres get 1 basic unit dual build kit. The way the support and rules seem to be written moving forward, it would probably be the other way around, if at all. They even wrote a story about it. They wrote it into the lore. The Beast Claw lost. They lost the Civil War. As sort of a meta commentary, perhaps, on model sales or something like that, or just general interest. Oh, half ogre. Okay. If more armies go to Old World, especially one that is Legacy Old World, you're going to lose it. I just think it's like way too late in the age of the game to be dumping whole armies. I think my position is kind of strong here. Starting soon. Oh, I can click the button. Background music. We are soon starting. Weta Workshop model instead. I wonder how the GW employees from across the pond are dealing with the climate. Palm Springs. I actually don't know. Is this... I guess I don't know where Warhammer World is happening. You're calling out Ogres, Foot Hero, new Foot Troops, and dual kit thing with a mounted hero monster, and non-hero variant. I don't know about the non-hero variant. They didn't do that at first. For Vampires. Joy Toy Frostlord on Stonehorn. I don't like the name. Joy Toy? You gotta call yourself something else. That sounds too close to an adult product. It sounds like something Project Melody would be selling, not Games Workshop, to be honest. Bop, 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 bop. How many loads are we getting? Well, it's the free square for a reason. Anyway, somebody answered OBR, Tzeentch, and Lumineth. Supposed to. They are adult products. Joy Toy does not bring you joy. It does not. They look like, what are those hideous things with the big heads? And their whole thing was like, we're Fortnite. We're just going to release your IP as an unbelievably ugly gremlin with a smooth face. Funkos, that's it. Yeah. I couldn't think of the name. They're just like, they're aesthetically empty completely, and it's just there for like man children to click by. I can't wrap my head around it. Aren't they going bankrupt? Good. They're disgusting. Funko slop. Truly. They're also like ugly. I don't know, like, if you're just going to be like the biggest sellout IP crossover slop ever, at least have it look not hideous. Proto-Labubu's. I mean, so were Beanie Babies. So was Furbies, right? It's kind of like, I consider it a Funko Pop to be an evolution of Furbies and Beanie Babies, you know? Except this one had the bright idea to have nothing for itself and just partner with IPs, you know? Marnius Cigar. You know, humans who buy Funkos for investing, imagine. I mean, I don't have too much of a high horse here because I collected Magic cards for investing a long time ago. However, I got the Power 9, playset of every duel, bunch of beta cards, and so, I don't know, man, the proof's in the pudding. Who gets to laugh about it, I guess, is who isn't holding the bag at the end of the day. You want some Funko? You wanted some Funkos for the Skyrim collection. You're a big Tess fan. The Elder Scrolls. But they're too ugly, even for your Tess simping. They don't have any appeal. Cannot understand their appeal. I kind of can't either. I mean, I like Doom. You know, I played the shareware version when it came out. Been a lifelong Doom fan for the most part, although some decades it's been harder than others, right? There's a Doom Funko Pop, probably. Don't want it. Oh yeah, I guess Cabbage Patch Kids, Garbage Pail Kids, Barbie. Opinions on Doom the Dark Ages? Not a very strong... not a very strong inclusion in the series to my liking. It's a Quake game. I guess if I had a problem with new Doom, 2016 was very good, surprisingly great. And then they went more in, and then they like immediately forgot instantly why Doom 2016 was good and went kind of in a weird direction for Eternal. and also for Dark Ages. Doom is Quake now. Like, Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages are Quake games. There's, like, trappings of demons and stuff, but it's Quake. Which I don't think it should be. I liked Quake as well. I liked Quake a lot, and I would like Quake to come back. But it's weird that they brought Quake back, except worse, and called it Doom. Have you tried Dusk? Yes, I have. Been playing that and it's pretty solid. Dusk is probably the best boomer shooter. So like the category of boomer shooter trying to ride off of nostalgia for 20 years ago or 30 years ago or whatever it was, you know, Dusk stands alone. It's the best that I've played or heard of anyway. And the thing they got right, that's the most important thing to get right, was the level design. We've lost the recipes on that shit, apparently. Because I played Bolt Gun. Movement was okay. The look and feel was decent. Sound design was pretty good. The level design was so bad. Just terrible. And after you played through the first act, you had seen everything. Difficulty scaling in the worst sort, where everything is just ludicrous bullet sponges, leading to hyperactive and yet also boring gameplay. Dusk is hot shit, though. Goon the Dank Agnes. You're in a Doom level design Discord? Oh, shit. Am I telling tales out of school here? Could a new range of ogres potentially reignite HeyWoah's passion for AOS? The game itself? No. Because 4th edition sucks. And all the battle tomes suck. And list building is not fun. And battle tactics kind of ruined the game. So those are like my top 3, you know?
Twitch Prime.
List building isn't fun. That's probably the most important. Battle tactics suck.
Good job, King.
And the battle tomes are bad. And so, like, getting new plastic ogres, however cool they look, wouldn't reinvigorate my interest in the game, as in, like, the game. Because the game isn't very good right now, to me, in my IMO. It would give me some hobby to work on while I absolutely inhaled copium that 5th would come to save us all, right? So maybe I owe them that much. HeyWoah, do you think the current AOS edition sucks ass? Yes. No offense. I'm working on a video right now with feedback for 5th about it. But yeah, I think it does. They threw the baby out with the bathwater trying to balance the game, and so now the whole game reads like a bunch of red tape, no fun allowed signs, empty battle tomes with almost no choices at all. Boring. Ba 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 whip whip whip. Put the spice in the bag. Whoever made the game bad for a player that doesn't exist? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that. It could be that. The mythical new player, right? But that's what they made Spearhead for. We already did that. You don't need to make the real game bad. You can make Spearhead for people who are terrified of making even a single choice before a game begins. You know? With streamlined everything, nothing does any more than one thing. Italian lunch break games, right? 1K. That's what Spearhead's for. Okay, now you're trying to find the mythical new player with that. But let's keep 2K good, though. People Comfy thinks it was a big prime. Rotmeyer Rob for the tier 2. 57. 1 month for every Space Marine revealed today. Hell yeah. Good shit. Ratmose took it too far. He did, yeah. Maybe that's what he was told to do. But I don't too much care about the why. I'm just like, fix it. Terrified of choice, but that's just when you open up your delivery app. A true Ogre. Very little Johnny left in the game. Yeah, that's sad. Like, they're all interconnected, all those three things. But when list building is fun...
Good job, King.
For the most part, if list building is fun, the game is fun. I hate to oversimplify, but that's like kind of it. Because if list building was fun, it would, by proxy, mean that the battle tomes probably have to be good for list building to be good, you know? And arguably battle tactics would have to be gone or in the battle plans instead. And a little more having to do with things that are happening in the game. And less to do with, I did a backflip, so I check off, did a backflip on my little note card. And get actual points towards winning the game. You want there to be so much choice you never actually play the game because you spend all your time list building. That's Commander. That's EDH. That's why Commander is so good. One of the many reasons. Because you can quote-unquote play Commander and not play Commander for like 5 months and just build decks, right? It's that fun. We had a taste of that here and there in first and second, but never quite went all the way with it. And now we've gone the opposite way with it. Path to Glory is great, and you'll hear no slander towards it, except that it should have more resources dedicated to it at GW. We used to be enemies, you and I, in different times across the pond. Back in the day, we would call it Path to Ignori and scroll past it, rolling our eyes, you know. But now they took a shop vac to everything interesting in the game. Until naught is left but War Scrolls with one rule. 18 artifact choices plus 84 realm artifact choices down to 3. And only one of them is made to be taken anyway. And now I feel like we put down our bayonets. The Path to Glory people and the 2K matched people. For we have a greater enemy to fight. Daniil, 5,500, thanks for the big prime, 15 months. Appreciate it. TYVM. We're playing bingo today. No, I didn't have time to make a bingo thing. I'm still working on this over here. For the second stream, you're getting 2 streams, double streamies today. We're watching the reveal, and then I'm finishing up the PC Gamer thing with all the mods. And then we're doing that at 6.
Sophisticated.
Oh, Iustine.
Relaxing.
Thanks for the 5.
Kind of invigorating. Everybody doesn't appreciate it like we
Connoisseurs
connoisseurs
do. Thanks for the 5. Appreciate it. Let those percolate out there.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very
There he
exciting
is.
new
There he
year
is.
Warhammer preview. I'm Adam Troke. I'm joined by my friend and colleague Eddie Eccles, and we are delighted.
Adam
to welcome
Stroke,
you all here.
Eddie
Yeah, we've
Cuckles.
got some very cool Warhammer reveals for you on the way in this preview. We have some Warhammer 40,000.
Let me know if
some
this is too
Warhammer
loud.
Age of Sigmar, a little bit of Horus Heresy, some new animation to have a look at, and some Blood Bowl. So it is a packed
Little Horus
preview with
Us
a little bit of
Heresy.
something from every corner of Warhammer.
Sign me up.
Fantastic. We're joined by loads of you already in the chat on both YouTube and on
Loads.
Twitch. Thank
said
you for
it.
coming and spending some time with us.
Loads.
We're going to wait a while before we jump into the first preview so that people can continue to flood in. And it's always nice to do a little bit of
said it.
welcoming and greeting everybody. It's nice to know where you're all from. So if you wouldn't mind just punching into the chat, if you're in Twitch, we'll be following along. We got some people monitoring the questions and making sure that Eddie and I get fed.
Use
the
a bit
right
more
information.
volume. All right.
So let us
He's
know
going
where
up.
you're tuning in from.
I put him up.
While you do that,
Loads and loads
maybe
and
we can
loads.
talk about what we've been doing hobby-wise.
You've been doing some hobby, Adam.
I have been doing some hobby. Here is my latest offerings. I've been doing an Angels of Death kill team for kill team, and I've done.
Oh wow, you put a base
coat
coat on them.
because
Big.
they're blue plastic, and I've been adding bits from my pretty extensive.
That's me if they come out with new ogres. I'll have something to paint.
Now they're a bit more advanced. They're all undercoated.
Yeah, the audio was a bit shit last time, but we fixed it.
I've not played as much kill team as I
And by we, I mean them.
My endeavour to get properly into it.
We'll have to have a game when you've got
A
them already.
lot of hard work he's done there.
We'll have some
Hey,
fun.
he's
That's the
putting
main
paint
thing.
on
What about you?
models. That's good
I've been
enough.
painting an even better chapter, the Space Wolves.
Top two, I'd give you.
Oh, this guy's
and
painting.
I'm painting dreadnoughts mostly. Just big dreadnoughts, little dreadnoughts.
This guy's
All the
been
dreadnoughts I
hype
could find.
train.
Are
Let's
these for
go.
anything?
They are for a team event for Warhammer 40,000.
Oh,
and my
bye.
contribution to the team is just loads and loads of dreadnoughts.
And why? This is Bran Redmore's great.
They are
company,
Bran
right?
Redmore's. Yeah, so I picked the angriest Space
Bran
Wolves I
Redmore.
can find for my great company.
Oh, perfect. So it would be nice to just get a sense of where you're all tuning in from. We're seeing we've got people tuning in from Spain and France, a bunch from the US, so welcome. Loads of people from the UK, and even here in Nottingham. And a couple is
Even here in
as far-flung
Nottingham.
as the Upside Down lands of Australia. So well done for Iron Manning it and staying up all night. That's good. Really lovely to have you all here. If you are tuning in from far-flung places and you want to join in the conversation online, we've got our international social media teams. You'll see them here for Facebook and Instagram. Why not drop onto those handles and
No
join in the
Warhammer
conversation in
dash
your own language,
Russ.
if you like.
No
Perfect.
dot
One of the
RU.
things that
What's
I
the
mentioned
issue there?
previously is,
Peen
we'll
one.
be
Think it's a big
keeping an eye on
prime
Twitch
7 months.
stream.
Loads.
If you want to ask a question, type the word question in block caps and then write your question afterwards, and we'll try and filter through and cover some questions about the things that we're showing to make sure that you get the answers that you need.
Yeah, we'll try and tell you all the important stuff, but there might be
Question.
some things that you really, really, really want to know, and if anything like that, pop them in the questions.
Yeah, I would suggest keeping it about the releases.
Oh yeah, not just generally,
don't ask,
not just
mad
like, you know,
stuff, 'cause,
how big is a blue whale? that
Question
sort of stuff.
ogres
Exactly,
when.
and there's only so
No, no,
Specifically
no.
about Warhammer.
Yeah, there's only so much time in the world, right? We reckon we'll be here probably for the next hour and a quarter or
Something
so.
like
it
that,
just
yeah.
depends.
Hour
how
and a
fast we
quarter.
talk,
Oh, okay.
and,
Big
how much of the
reveal.
Show, and there is a lot. We've already told people what we're going to show. We've already done the introductions. People know how to ask questions. I think it might be time
I think it
to
might
go
be time to
to
start,
our first reveal.
Question,
Let's
ogres
go
when?
to the grim darkness of the Dark Millennium.
Of the dank millennium. The tyrant returns. The enforcer. The plumber. Eric Garland. The Favoid. I'm just muting this pre so SJ has to do less work. Here, there's butt rock happening, okay? Bum 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 bwee, 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 bwee. Small parts, sharp points. Thanks to the tier 1 for 9. Thanks to the big. Appreciate it.
A way to kick off the preview show with incredible releases, all themed around the Maelstrom. Eddie, how do we even start with this?
This is a fairly sizable release for Warhammer 40,000.
Does the music
and
copy
two
strike it?
armies
Yes.
are getting a lot of new plastic
Well,
miniatures.
not copy
Chaos
strike,
Space Marines
DMCA,
and the
it's
forces
different.
Of the Aeldari. If we start on the diabolically heretical side of things, this is Huron Blackheart and the Masters of the Maelstrom. We knew, of course, that Huron Blackheart was on his way. We suspected there might have been some other Corsairy-looking things along with him, but we can now reveal that he is on his way as part of a character box set. Not
You never
unlike
liked
the
GW's
Titus box set we
penis
saw
music.
released over recent weeks, and it is a phenomenal set of miniatures, starring, of course, Huron Blackheart. We've seen this guy
Do you
before a
mean-
little bit, but just a reminder for those of you who might not have seen him already.
It's always nice to look at the Tyrant Novelab, the Master of the Red Corsairs. There he is with his little demonic elf with a hammer dryer, and he's showing what happens when you go on the wrong side of a long gun, courtesy of Captain Andocles of the Star
Penis
Phantoms
music.
chapter. Yeah, he doesn't come alone, as you mentioned. There is a swathe.
He
of,
doesn't come
interesting
alone.
Characters in his retinue. Why don't we take a look at some of those? First up would be Geryon the Corpse Master.
That's
He's
a weird
the Lord
face.
Apothecary of the Red Corsairs. He was the apothecary in the Astral Claws, the chapter that was, and he was part of Huron's machinations to sort of play about with their gene seed and evade the gene seed tithe,
That's
which
naughty.
is the whole problem that kicked off the Fourth Quadrant Rebellion in the first place.
And the rest is history. of
Yeah,
course.
well, exactly so.
So some fun stuff
Prime?
about how he plays in games. Obviously, he is kind
Wild
of
Man
not
Aegis.
really
Thanks to
got
Big
the
Prime
best
for 13.
interest at
Lucky
heart of,
13.
the Red Corsairs that he battles
Nope.
alongside. You can see a Red Corsair on the base there.
Probably
Probably.
clutching the apron.
Nobody comes
awkwardly.
Yeah,
alone.
he's not going to get the medical attention that he's particularly looking for.
Warp-tainted
he has a special rule,
hairline.
basically, where if a Red Corsair unit near him is at half strength, he can have a command point because he's harvesting the gene seed, and that's what he's looking for. He can also bring models back into the unit that he is in. So Huron and his retinue are a little bit more durable.
Not the battlefield medic that the Red Corsairs might want, but definitely the one they deserve. Next up in line is Qatar Garrix, who is the headsman of the Red Corsairs. This is Huron Blackheart's personal executioner, and he comes appropriately enough from the Executioner's chapter, one of those chapters swept up in the Fourth Quadrant Rebellion and part of the Badab War. He signed on permanently with Huron Blackheart after the events of that, and now serves as kind of like
It's a 5 on the Norwood
a
scale.
warning to any Red Corsairs that might want to step out of line. His presence on the bridge of a vessel will quell even the smallest rumour of like insurrection.
Yeah, I think if you turn up with the heads of the previous 7 people who had insurrections, that certainly sends a message, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
In game terms, no massive surprises that he is very good at killing enemy characters. He has precision and anti-character on his weapons, which is pretty cool.
Nice, and he just looks incredible. Really grim
Precision,
and foreboding
anti-character.
and enough heads to send the message to anybody who wants to hear it. Next up in this retinue, and if you had Mantis Warriors in 2026 on your bingo card, congratulations. This is Garlon Soul Eater, who was once a Mantis Warriors librarian. He has signed up with the Red Corsairs, and he is known as the Tyrant's Witch, a formidable psyker, now a Chaos Sorcerer, and he uses his powers to.
I think his
sort of,
helmet is
corrupt
cool.
The minds of those
I don't know
around him.
anything
There's
about any of these
stories him
people.
Sort of
Helmet
turning
looks
the
cool.
crews of like gun decks against their allies and like firing salvos at supposedly friendly ships. And he's kind of like Huron's spy master and manipulates all of the sort of schemes around.
There's a lot of schemes
Huron.
if you're a pirate to keep track of.
Well, I
aren't there?
imagine
This
so,
kinda
right?
helps you out.
He's also got a really
I
cool
like the
helmet,
idea of
and
putting it on
rumor
a
is he hasn't
rotating
taken off for more
mirror.
than a decade, and maybe he's hideously mutated underneath.
Rotating
Could be.
mirror.
He's got some really tasty rules in Warhammer 40,000 as well. He has a precision psychic attack that is decent.
Our melee
plus
foot
1
heroes is bad in
damage.
40k as they are on AOS. That's actually what I was just thinking of.
Characters in
40K
units and
players.
Just take them out.
Is a
basically.
guy on
Mind
foot with an
drench them out
axe
of
that's good
reality.
against other heroes? Is that
Fantastic.
like
another great
as
Space
terrible as it
Marine, Chaos
is
Space Marine,
in
I suppose,
AOS?
within Huron's retinue? The next model is Immortal, and is the captain of the Reign of Spite. This is Captain Sargota. She was once a Imperial Navy commander from the Solar Segmentum fleets. Incredibly
Captain
well-placed within
Sargatum.
the noble houses, long lineage and dynasty behind her. She was politically outmaneuvered once she was injured, and while she was convalescing, sort of her position. In
No,
space
they get
was taken from her. In
attached to
revenge,
units, and they're
she
often essential.
essentially,
Okay.
Orchestrated the handover of an
It's
entire
sort of
naval
terrible, but
dockyard
not
with
as bad
ships
as
and
AOS.
crews,
Okay, so the
to
jury
a
seems
pirate
mixed,
fleet, I
Very-
wonder whose.
very
but not as
tasty.
bad as
Exactly,
AOS in
and
any
now
case.
she serves on one of the biggest battle cruisers in Huron's fleet, where she oversees a lot of his operations. She also joins the battlefield sometimes, which is why she's on this command airs here.
Yeah, I think this is my favourite
Peg
model
leg.
from this box set.
It's really good.
It's really, really fun. It's like a nice characterful diorama piece. The thing that she's floating around on actually is something that she uses during boarding of enemy ships. So it's effectively like a mobile command dais, but she can plug it into the command stations of enemy ships once they've been boarded to take it over.
Yeah.
So she's all in pirate.
You can imagine the mechadendrites
All
somebody,
in
you can imagine
pirate.
sliding into all the ports in a plundered ship, and then suddenly all of those data slates behind her come alive with all the information you need to essentially.
She
steal
could
an entire
board
battle.
I
my
like the little
ship any
bird skulls
day.
on the shoulder as well. I like to imagine one of those was a parrot.
There you go. Yep, very practical. Fantastic model and really exciting addition.
I feel
The
like
next
that's
one,
probably
maybe
the way
even
we're
stranger, a lot of
going,
people have
right?
been trying to guess what this means. They've looked.
I
at
don't
the
think
silhouette.
anyone guessed right.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
did, well done.
This is a Tyrellian dog soldier known as the Enforcer. She is essentially the warrior that Huron sends out to hunt down those who would dissent against.
Is
him,
this a
and
Borderlands
maybe
character that I'm
naysaying his
unfamiliar with?
leadership Or,
Oh,
reneging on deals. And so the Enforcer hunts them down relentlessly. She'll go as far as it takes to do so. And she takes with her Plunder, which is the canine-ish, canid-looking creature. That is, if you were wondering, an adolescent Barghisi. If the term Barghisi is familiar to you, that's because in Warhammer 40,000 there's a thing called the hyper-violent Barghisi, which has appeared a couple of times in our lore. This is what they look like before they are big enough to be called hyper-violent. when she first met it, it bit her arm off, which is why she's got that unusual bionic sort of fist thing that you can see there. Now it serves essentially as her little hunter killer. But she has to keep an eye on it because they're prone to spates of really rapid growth, and eventually it will become too big to manage. And rumours of Barghisi like devastating entire
Too big
space
to
ports,
manage.
like run rife. So she will eventually have to take it to the Warhammer 40,000 equivalent of the woodshed.
Or the space farm.
Oh yeah, we're a happy ending for everybody in the grim darkness of the far future.
I think what this miniature
He's
does,
making this too
in terms
easy.
of,
He's
like,
doing
telling
this
you
on
about the story
purpose.
of
A
Huron
happy
and,
ending to
the
everyone
Maelstrom
on the
itself is
crew.
indicating that not only have you got like renegade chaos space marines,
He's
and
doing this on
humans,
purpose.
you also have alien pirates and bounty hunters and all the kind of ne'er-do-wells and piratical forces from the whole region gravitating towards the Maelstrom. So it's not just about chaos space marines. He is the master of this enormous pirate
The
empire
Maelstrom.
within the
Absolutely, yeah.
Misogyny
forces
alive and well in
disposal are
40K.
vast, and if you want to resist the sort of oppressive regime, as they would call it, of the Imperium or other places, then the Maelstrom might be the place for you. And I'm sure he's a very kind-hearted leader. Speaking of
40K
Huron
Seraphon,
Blackheart,
you
he does
say.
not come alone. The Masters of the Maelstrom are joined by this box set. Everything you see here
Box
comes
set.
in a big box called the Lords of the Maelstrom, and is essentially the heart of a Red Corsairs army. It's got loads of great models, in it,
Loads.
including some brand new ones. Let's take you through what you can see in here.
Yeah, so some of these miniatures, all of these miniatures will eventually be available separately. Some of these are old miniatures with upgrade kits. Some of them are brand new miniatures. These are raiders. They are.
Wait, he said
brand new
all
miniature
of
set.
them
These
will
are
be available
effectively
separately?
The elite of the Red Corsairs. They sit somewhere between legionaries and chosen in terms of power and hierarchy.
Did he say all of them or some of
They
them?
are the veterans of the Barab Wars and the various different conflicts within the Maelstrom. As far as in-game, they are a really useful little unit. They have infiltrate. They have 3 wounds each. They have a really
said
respectable
all.
combat stat line, and they've also got things like melter guns and power fists and stuff that you can put into the unit. So a really useful all-round unit.
Yeah, and they're not just great in terms of game rules, but also the models are fantastic, right? This is the personification of what it means to be a renegade Chaos Space Marine. You're existing outside of the structures of the these mighty Space Marine legions. So a lot of their war gear looks scavenged, and the plate armor and so on is sort of cobbled together.
I mean,
They've got
these
lots of
dudes are kind of
trappings
neat.
on them
I don't
from
know
various
anything
battles
about them
and
at
enemies
all,
that they've
or the
fought. It's
Maelstrom.
really quite exciting to see these.
Lots of them have got like pelts of wild animals or
Yeah,
horse
They're
hairs,
clearly
as I like to
bad,
call it.
like they're bad
very
guys.
good, very good. There's more within this box set. Next up, you can see the Chaos Terminator squad. These are the Chaos Terminators that you already know and love if you're a Chaos Space Marine player. The difference here being they have new sculpted detail shoulder pads, which are included within this box set. So essentially,
New
you can just
sculpted
tailor
detail
them to
shoulder
look like
pads?
Red Corsairs. Obviously, Chaos Terminators are fantastically useful if you're living your life via the medium of shipboarding actions. and
Yeah,
so on.
there's quite a lot of Chaos Terminators that show up in some of the Red Corsair Black Library stories as well.
Yeah,
So this is
absolutely.
very thematic for them to have. I think they look great in red and black as well.
It's a
don't they?
really striking
It's
colour
a good
scheme,
colour
isn't it?
scheme.
Yeah, absolutely. Similarly, you have the Legionaries. This is the same kit that you might be used to from the other Chaos Space Marine Legions. And again, there's upgrades that tailor them towards looking like Red Corsairs. So you've got these fantastic Red Corsair shoulder pads.
Nice
and
to
then
see
you've got
Chaos
some
with a
other
billion
details
spikes and
as well,
skulls. Never
we'll show what they
mind.
look like in a moment. But you've got like heads and some.
There's like ammo belts,
extra
aren't
bits
there, and
pieces, yeah.
trophies and
Oh,
that
there
sort
you
of
go.
stuff. There we go.
Perfect.
That is the whole upgrade kit. So you can see there, you've got the Terminator shoulder pads, you've got the shoulder pads that fit Legionaries, but they'll also fit anything in that kind of like
Yeah,
size
absolutely.
of armor if you want to have some like
Male
raptors
Power
or something,
Fantasy,
you can do
Evil
those
Space
too.
Marine
You've got
variant.
some really
My
cool
male
unhelmeted heads
fantasy
there.
the head's
is
the most
choosing to
exciting.
have a
Cool,
good
yeah.
night's
It's
sleep, and it
really great.
And
actually
then there's some big
happens.
transfers as well. So if you want to have like Rhinos and Land Raiders and Dreadnoughts and things that have the appropriate iconography on it, you can do that too.
Yeah, what you get with this transfer sheet is way more than you need to do just the models that come in the set. So if you're looking to build a big Red Corsairs force, well, you'll be able to. Right, that was all pretty exciting, but it's not done. There's also the Traitor Guardsmen.
Oh, you need
These
the
are
really
exact
stupid-looking
Traitor
normal
Guardsmen
people?
love.
Yeah,
They're just
you
in
have to
red
have
and working
those.
for the Red Corsairs, and they kind of
can't all
exemplify
look
of the
cool.
people that
You have to
flock
have
Huron's
dumb.
banner, and sort of try and survive outside of the restrictions of the Astra Militarum and the Imperium at large.
Who's Vague Miniatures? I believe they
That's
just
right. And we've
talked in
got,
chat
one
for the
more
first time
miniature, I
ever.
think.
Yeah,
the Red
and
Corsairs?
so bringing up the Rhea is actually my favourite.
Something
model
to be
out of this launch.
celebrated.
I think the Reeve Captain really just hits home on what it means to be a renegade Chaos Space Marine. Just a fantastic model. He's a multi-part kit, but the one right in the center is the one that really.
And look at this
gets
fucking
me.
smile. Look at this
Loads
guy.
of detail, loads of plunder. He's picked up bits and pieces from lots of battles, and he just
Problem,
quite good in the
Space
game.
Marine?
Yeah, so there's loads of options on the kit to start with. So this is a multi-part plastic kit. You've got a choice of 2 different combat weapons. They've got different stats in the game. You've got a sword and you've got a mace. You can have a plasma pistol if you want him to have, or you can have a bolt pistol. He is a very good addition to your army. He is a Reeve captain. So I suppose might indicate that he's either maybe
He's kind of cool. I like this guy.
Astral Claws, maybe one of the previous captains, or maybe someone who's risen through the ranks of the Red Corsairs since. So he is somewhere thereabouts of Chaos Lord level in terms of his abilities. He is a little bit less fighty than a Chaos Lord, but he brings more to the table in terms of abilities that you can give to your unit. He has Infiltrate, which means that he's a great addition to some of those Red Corsair squads we talked about before. So he can be right up in the enemy's face early on in the game. He can also give you loads of abilities when you charge into close combat, and you've got lots of stuff across the Chaos Space Marine Codex that allows you to have things like run and charge, so they stack really nicely with those. So you can get an extra point of strength, an extra point of AP, and re-rolling charges with this guy on that unit, which might be infiltrating right up in your enemy's face, which is a pretty tasty little combo.
You just showed up. Any AOS? No, we got to get through the 40k
all of
first.
The stuff that we've just talked through there, you can absolutely do.
And then
this
probably
as a
some
Red
other 40k
Corsairs
and then
army if you
40k
want.
after
If
the
you want to
AOS.
go all in for Huron Blackheart and
You haven't
go
missed
with the
anything.
red and black of that force, you can.
There's
or
Maelstrom,
you can add these into any other
light
Space Marine
chaos,
army. So if you've got an
pirate
existing
guys.
Black Legion army,
They're
and you want
kind-
to sprinkle
they're
a
like,
little bit
okay,
of Red
they're kinda
Corsairs
cool,
into
I
it, or
guess.
team them up with the Alpha Legion, you can absolutely do that.
Perfect. We are not even halfway done with the stuff for this Maelstrom section.
Yeah, we know.
We've talked about Huron and the Red Corsairs.
I
In
know.
that video that we saw at the beginning, we saw
That's only
another
half
force.
the pirates we have.
Exactly. So let's go and look at Prince Iriel and his
We aren't even
Eldritch
half
Raiders.
done with half of the 40k.
A little bit of a lore dump for you if you're unaware. Prince Iriel is a renowned Eldari hero. He is the saviour of Craftworld Iyanden when it was under attack from the hive fleets of the Tyranids, and really solidified his sort of place in legend. But the thing he loves is to range across the galaxy, reaving, and at the head of this army. The Eldritch Raiders.
Reaving.
This is a box set. Everything you see on here is included within it, and we'll take you through and have a quick look at all of those things. First out the gates are the Corsair
Damn, I gotta say,
So
I
this
really
is a
don't like the
useful
Eldar.
little unit for
I'm not a
Corsairs. You can
40k
include these in a
player,
Corsair army or in
but
a entirely Craftworld army.
I
if
just
you
think
want to.
they look awful.
And this is a really flexible, fast-moving unit. You can kit them out in all sorts of different
Like their
ways.
whole-
They come
their
as
whole
standard
aesthetic.
with Corsair
I don't like
blades
it.
and shuriken pistols, which is a great little kind of combo to pick on little isolated enemy units. But you've also got the option to include quite a lot of different special weapons in the unit. So if you want to make them anti-infantry, you've got things like shredders and flamers. If you want to make them anti-tank, you can put fusion guns and stuff like that in
Maybe
the
it's
unit.
the paint
And they've
scheme.
got
I'm not
lots
sure.
of movement abilities. They come with Scout, Deep Strike, and a reactive move ability as standard, which means they're going to be very hard to pin down. So they've got a phenomenal kind of objective game.
Yeah, they really play into that sort of hit and withdraw aspect of
Yes.
the Eldritch Raiders that makes them famous. They're also a lovely callback to some very
Yeah, they got a
classic
ton of
rogue
tactical
trading
rocks. I think
artwork.
I'm
If
fine
you've
with
ever
that.
seen vintage
I
like
think
me,
stands look too
you'll
ugly.
recognise it, and it feels
Even
quite nice to
weird
see
rocks
that
is
sort of,
better than those plastic
imagery
stands.
making it into the modern Warhammer 40,000 tabletop. In a similar vein, in terms of the flexibility and the way they fight,
There's like a
another
hint of
unit within this
Egyptian
set.
stuff here.
You'll be familiar with them if you've maybe played Kill Team over the last few years. These are the Corsair Void Reavers. So it's the same kit returned, and they'll be in this Eldritch Raiders box. Tell us about the Void Reavers, if you would.
Yeah, so the Corsair Void Reavers are your kind of line Corsair infantry. That's a really flexible kit. You can build them as either a kind of battle line version or as an
This
elite
gun's
version.
kind of neat.
They have loads of different weapon options.
This gun is
So,
not.
They're one of the most flexible kits.
This
in
one's
Warhammer
all right.
40,000 in terms of the different range of stuff you can
Not
give them.
big
You can
on the
make them very
swords.
anti-infantry or very anti-character or very good at shooting or combat or taking out tanks or whatever you need, really. The bits in the kit are really interchangeable with the other new Corsair stuff that's on its way as well. So it was already a really
Big,
flexible
weird
unit,
gun.
and now it's even more flexible in terms of how you can build it. And if you are
Yeah, this gun's kind of
a
neat.
fan of kind of kit bashing stuff together, this is a dream, this box.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like
to
their
lead
cone heads.
these all into battle, there are two heroes within the Eldritch Raiders set. The first of which is Karseth. Karseth is a Void Dreamer. What is a Void
Okay,
Dreamer?
the
I hear you
helmet
ask?
does
Well,
look
Void
a
Dreamer
little
is a type of
bug-like.
Eldar seer, and Karseth
But it's a
specialises in being able to
striking-
sense the subtle
I don't know, it's sort of a
fluctuations in the
striking
fabric of
image.
reality. So one of the gifts that Karseth has is to
A fine
detect
staff.
warp translations. Imagine that you come out of
I think
the
this
warp
guy's
with
neat.
your fleet, and you're straight into the gun sights of the Eldritch Raiders.
Any wizard
sat
with
waiting
something
for
like
you.
a
That's
gas
quite the
mask is
boon
cool.
For Iriel and his team. Also, Karseth specifically coordinates the efforts of the Eldritch Raiders, making sure that they're all like working in synchronicity and firing.
I appreciate this guy more than the
sneaking
others.
into the minds of the warriors and making sure that everybody's all on the same page.
Yeah, so a really useful unit in game terms as well. This is an Eldar Psyker and comes with a ranged.
Everything should be a
psychic
useful
attack,
unit
like
in
Psychic
game
Storm style
terms
thing.
if it's not. What are
The
you guys
reason that
fucking
they really
doing?
pop is the special rules that come with them. One of them is the ever useful ability to stop enemy units deploying within 12, so they can see the future. You can never catch them off guard, sort of thing. That's great to put on your backfield objective, or to just screen out large portions of the battlefield to stop things like Corsair Terminators teleporting behind you. That's not a thing that would be good for you. The other ability that they have is if you manage to hit an enemy unit with their psychic attack, all the rest of the Corsairs that fire into that unit hit with an extra point of strength. So it's a really good synergistic unit to help.
Yeah, he
the
is
rest of
kind
the
of
Corsairs
good cape
hit
game.
even harder.
A good cape game
And
is
of
very
course,
important.
They are led by
Not just for your
Prince
wizards.
Iriel. Prince Iriel is the outcast Prince of Iandon, and he's returned now with his Corsair fleet.
I don't like
to
him.
deliver his craft world from annihilation once again by leading an army into the Maelstrom.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's
Don't like
equipped with the Spear of Twilight, a very famous weapon. It's extremely dangerous. He's on his eye. That bionic is called the Eye of Wrath. It's powerful in its own right. And he's a devastating combat leader as well as an actual leader of warriors.
Yeah, so a really, a phenomenal miniature, right? Like it looks really cool. It's definitely a great glow up. But it's still very recognisably the Prince Uriel that we know and love. In game terms, he makes a phenomenal either leader for a Corsair army, or you can put him into a standard Craft World force. And he has a very useful ability to redeploy some of your units before the game starts. And he also has
he's got that
boosts
Bastion
to wherever
Carthelos
unit he's
ability.
joined. So just a really good all-round leader and a combat stat line that punches.
Which I don't know if
up with some of the best
Carthelos
of the
even
Eldar
still has
heroes.
that.
He's got a really nice damage 3 weapon, which is the sweet spot.
I know he
for
doesn't
killing a
have
lot of
lightning
the
anymore.
best
Too fun,
units
too
in
interesting.
Warhammer 40,000 these days. So he can rough and tumble with the best of them, really.
And he's got 2 banners, and banners are the best. So
That's how you know he's good, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
it comes with 2 banners.
So
double bannies.
obviously, the other thing that you might have seen in
He's
that
got a
video and in
Yu-Gi-Oh
the army
card
shop,
holder.
that we
He's
saw
ready to
was
duel.
This is the Starfang. It is an Aeldari unit which is designed to go alongside the Corsair Raiders as they fight. It's pretty good in its own right. Eddie, can you talk us through it?
I absolutely can. So this is a really useful little utility unit. So first and foremost, it has a fairly respectable amount of firepower. Its firepower is geared to killing heavy infantry level stuff. So AP3, strength 6, 2 damage stuff. So it's a Space Marine killer in terms of its damage output. There's a disintegrator cannon you can see on the front of it there. But one of the other things that it does for your army, which is really useful, is it can make one of your infantry units have stealth. So its grenade launchers can basically like cover the one of your infantry units in kind of cover and give them effectively makes them harder to hit. So it's just really useful because a lot of your army is going to be quite fragile.
Nice. One of the things
Doesn't he
that's
shoot
exciting about
lightning
this
still?
is it
No.
is a twofer kit, as we sometimes call
Okay.
them. Essentially,
He has Thunderbolts
the
of
kit that's
Azir.
in
They
the
turned
box
it into a
and
ranged
eventually
weapon and
we
ruined
separately,
it. So
also makes the Viper, which I believe is actually
we'll call
the
it
name
a
of the box will live under.
99.9%
This is
true that he
a
doesn't have it.
classic Aeldari vehicle, which has been around for 30 years or more.
I think it's longer than 30 years.
Oh, you've aged me terribly. Yeah, this is a classic light attack vehicle. It's 2 crew. It's got that turret on the back.
2 crew.
And it's got a range of weapons available to it, right?
Yeah, so this is the updated Viper. It will be recognizable to anybody who's had a Viper in their army. It still retains a lot of the key features that you'll recognize, but some of the weapon options are a little bit more flexible than they used to be. It still has the option of things like Shuriken Cannon. You can have a Star Cannon on there. You can have a Bright Lance.
A Shuriken
Underneath
Cannon
the
is
Viper,
pulp.
You also
Like,
have the
that's
option now
funny.
to put an Eldar missile launcher on it. So
Yeah.
that gives you the potential
Your
to make it quite
Shuriken
a good
gun. Like, that's funny.
anti-tank
A
unit.
disc
You can
shooter.
put 2 of these in a unit. So you can imagine 2 Bright Lances, 2 Eldar missile launchers shooting into something becomes quite formidable. Or you can get it out for pretty good anti-infantry with Shuriken cannons and Star Cannons and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so here we got a really good look at it in person on the desk.
Oh, there
It
it
is a
is.
fantastic looking kit. It's got that classic silhouette that you expect.
Seated
If you build
heats.
it the right way, the turret has some play, so you can maneuver a little. This is an heavy metal painted one, and I don't want to
We're
get
not
in
allowed to
trouble,
touch it,
so I'm
really.
not going to fiddle with it too enthusiastically. And then, I guess the major difference is the sort of the positioning of the turrets and the way they work. It's a really just a fantastic sort of innovation on a very classic design. The Viper's been with us for a long time. and it
Yeah, I mean
feels
the
like
current Viper model is lovely.
It is an
They're definitely
iconic
showing its
design
age
that
a
I don't
little bit
like,
around the edges.
but-
So the crispness on the detail
Oh, I
on
was
this,
about
some
to
of
point
the
something out that was
posability of the
neat, but
weapons
never
and that
mind.
sort of thing. The engines now match some of the things like the jet bike engine, so
Yeah.
it fits really neatly and nicely into an Eldari army.
inside the
The old
cockpit's
Viper kit was
detailed, so you
notoriously
can paint
annoying
that
to
and then
make.
seal the canopy in with these
Is
sort of like transparent plastic.
Matthias.
And that you've got options for the the crew. This one with the
The gas caps is
staff
located
band
on the nose
has sort
cone.
of crew that look more sort of
Kind of
Corsair
Corsair-y, yeah.
oriented, and then you've got the classic sort of craftwood helmets on the Viper. But you can
Anyway, this is a nice little slice here
Yeah.
out of
really
the
exciting.
out of the
Where
shoe.
do you learn?
So the
about all
Sonic
of
the
these,
Hedgehog shoe
exciting
right there,
Corsairs, both the
There's a
Red
neat
Corsairs and the
little
Eldritch
slice
Raiders
out of it
as
that
well. Of
maintains
course,
the
we need a book for that.
overall shape of it.
And
Kind of
here
neat.
we go. This is a succinctly named Warhammer 40,000, the Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant into the Nightmare Realm.
Layer of the Tyrant.
If you are familiar with Titus, which just released, I think, this is a very similar
Somehow
idea. So
Titus
it's,
returned.
4 books contained in a slipcase that detail all of the events that we've talked about and the characters and things, and some brilliant new and exciting ways to play Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot to go through here. Just like the 500 Worlds books we've just seen released, there's loads of good stuff in here. Lair of the Tyrant is
Jay
your
Forrester,
lore
thanks for
book,
becoming
so
a
this
HeyWoah
dives
enjoyer on
into
YouTube. I
the
appreciate it.
history and environments and all the
TYVM.
locations within the Maelstrom in a level of detail that we've never seen before. We find out about the key planets within
The
that
absolute
region,
level
the
of
bits
detail.
that Huron is in control of, the various different battles that are ongoing. It's definitely not a
16
unified
times the
empire, right?
books.
There are lots of factions all playing for their part and trying to carve out their little pirate empires within the Maelstrom. It also tells you all about the Red Corsairs and particularly Huron's bodyguard and his retinue that follows him round, and Prince Uriel and his Corsairs as they battle against the Red Corsairs for dominance.
Yeah, each of these books does a slightly different thing. For example, Crucible of Champions is quite exciting because it is encourages you to sort of create your own hero, stamp your own identity on them, which is a thing I love to do whenever I'm playing a game of Warhammer 40,000. I imagine the commander of my army is me, so that's very exciting.
Caleb Davis, thanks for
and
$2
obviously
bucks.
I think you'd make a great pirate.
Cooler than me because
What
he's a Dark
is
Angels
Warhammer?
company master
That's a
normally.
great question.
But
I'll
you
do a
can
video
sort of,
essay on it,
get
2
War
hours.
gear and different special rules and all of that stuff to make
Caleb
really
Shield, thanks for the big
exciting
Prime, 29.
and then use them in your
Do we know what
games.
models are showing
Great,
from AOS? I heard Tzeentch and
Lair
OBR.
of the Tyrant detachments,
Maybe.
as you might have guessed, has some detachments
Maybe something
in.
else, but
So one of the
I don't
things
think
that's worth
anything's
saying about this
confirmed.
book is much like will happen with the 500 Worlds Titus
Anyway,
book,
thanks for the
all
bucks
of the,
on YouTube.
rules that are for match play will also be made available online and in the Warhammer 40,000 app, but you can also find them in print in Lair of the Tyrant, and there's some new detachments
Warhammer
for,
situation is
Chaos
crazy.
Space Marines, as you'd imagine, and for Eldari. So one of those detachments allows you, for example, to make a very heavily Corsair-themed Eldari force.
Perfect. Raid and Ruin lets you put together campaigns that involve things like ship-to-ship actions and stuff. So really exciting. Right. So this is not the only stuff that we've got to talk about with regards to the Maelstrom. We
know.
also have some new
We know.
battalions. There's 2 of these. The first one is the Drukhari battalion. And is packed full
Preview
of
image has a
let's
Tzeentch
be
foot
honest,
hero looking guy and an
raiders,
OBR weapon.
who,
Oh, well, that's
They
better
love
than just a
piracy.
rumor, isn't
I mean,
it?
They were kind of the original Eldar
That's
pirates,
more
the
definitive.
Drukhari here, and this is a very heavily witch-themed box. So
Yeah,
if you're looking to
absolutely.
start a Drukhari army, and
Witch
you've got an eye on
themed
the
box?
gladiatorial pits of
You
Comorra,
rang?
this is a great place to start.
It includes a succubus,
Blast Dex, thanks
2
for the
Venoms,
Prime 9
3
months.
Reavers, 5 Hellions,
Return
and 10
to the
Witches.
great
So
wisdom
loads
of the
that
Gut
witching
Lord.
stuff that you were referring to before.
Well, my wisdom
and
is
a really
just
good bedrock for
watching
a
the
new Drukhari
preview.
army, or just the reinforcements if you're already deep into that collection.
reacting, hoping.
There's another one.
coping.
This is, the Leagues of Votann battalion, and that includes the Memnir strategist and 6 Ironkin Steeljacks for them to control and get the best out of, and then 3 Hernkin Pioneers to sort of range ahead of the army and scout ahead. And again, ideal for exploring the Maelstrom and bolstering an existing Leagues of Votann force if you want to.
and kind of a nod as
I
well.
think the
that a
space
lot of the
dwarves are
lore
kind
in
of
this
cool. Is that
Maelstrom
weird? Do
book
people
is
like
relevant to a
them
big
in
chunk of
40K?
Warhammer 40,000. Like,
Yeah,
there
I
are
think I
loads
like
of
the
people
space
within the
dwarves.
Maelstrom all trying to carve out little mini empires. There's Orc freebooters.
I think their vehicles are
Drukhari,
probably too
Leagues of
goofy.
Votann and all sorts of stuff.
But in
There's
general, I like the
opportunities in there.
scopes.
It's sort of untested
for those with the
space.
will to claim it.
Exactly
Yeah.
so. Fantastic. So
People like them, but
we
they don't
have
collect
been
them.
keeping an eye on some questions, and I've got some that I will just quickly fire out here. So Prime Mod Hale asks, will Huron and his mates be available separately later, or will we be condemned to a character box?
So Huron is in the character box in the same way that Titus is. So
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
2 big boxes coming out initially for the Red Corsairs. One of them is the Red Corsairs Army, which is the Reeve captain leading a force of Red Corsairs, and the other one is Huron and his bodyguard. Everything in the the big battalion box will be available separately, but I think for the moment, Huron's staying with his retinue.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is, can Huron's retinue join
Okay.
another unit?
I don't.
I think it's a unit in its
think
own
so.
right and
It's a great
operates
question.
independently.
Let me find out.
Main
That
tank is very
the
Ninja
question.
Turtles.
think
It
so.
is,
I don't think
yeah, it is the
Perfect.
pizza van.
And then
Yeah.
a question, I think, regarding the Viper.
It looks
from,
like an
John,
exploratory vehicle and not a
Funny
combat one.
is,
That's my
is
main
the turret
problem with it.
interchangeable. I think if you built it
I
carefully,
mean,
you
it
might
looks
be
like
able
a
to
somewhat
change the weapons,
realistic-ish
but I think once you've built the
lander
turret, it
kind
matters a
of
lot.
thing.
So,
I haven't built it,
But
so
it
I
looks
don't
like a
know for
science
sure.
vessel, not
We
a
can
combat
certainly have a
one.
go.
How come you're bringing a
absolutely.
science vessel to a
Keep your
battle?
questions coming in. We'll try and answer some as we go through. One last one from Afexipe.
The Dwarf Wizard is sweet, too.
Apologise. And your question is, which factions can be played in the Maelstrom campaign? Absolutely loads of them. There's an enormous list
Loads.
which I won't go through, but it includes things like Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Orcs, Freeboots would be great in there. Loads of things. The idea is that you can get involved and have good fun. So if you want to...
That's because it is an exploratory vehicle. That just seems like a weird choice for a universe
I'm quite
of
sure
only
we'll
war.
list the factions that you can use on Warhammer Community,
Yeah, absolutely.
so you can decide for yourself. I think it's almost everything.
Like, that'd be
in
neat
Warhammer.
I would be surprised
as an
if you let
artwork
somebody
in the
else do this.
background of some
Perfect,
picture
thank
or
you very much.
something, but
We
when it comes
should
time to
press on.
you know,
So-
There is a little bit more Warhammer 40,000.
fight on the battlefield, it's
that's
weird
the
to have a
best way
science
say it. We are
vehicle.
about to go to the Mortal Realms, but there's more Warhammer 40,000 later. But let's go to the Mortal Realms now.
My lord, yes. You can't just solve all of our problems.
It's a
by
callback.
increasing the
Remember?
bone tide.
Remember the meme?
The hell
The hell I can't increase the bone tithe. I'm muting the music because we'll get DMCA'd for it. The archers, at last. Ooh, and they only have one eye. That's a cool detail. Oh, the decapitators, dude. The reapers. Chariot, gross. For a class of unit in AOS that has no job. It looks sick though. These guys just look like Shredder. Am I out of line here? Foot Liege Cavalos, big Shredder, essentially power Shredder in the front there. Dude, we finally
The
got
Bone Tithe received
the
some
Bowmen.
much
We knew
desired
it. They were always
reinforcements with this
happening.
Huge glut of models for the Ossiarch Bonereapers. Eddie, let's talk about what we saw, I guess.
Yeah, so this is a fairly
Oh.
large drop of new miniatures
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Ossiarch Bonereapers. A lot of these
At last. This
units
is
fill a
good.
really nice niche in the army that players have been looking forward to for a long time. If we start with the
There's
Vortex
one
Triaxes,
undead
we
army with
saw
ranged.
a Ossiarch with a bow quite a while back, actually, in a Warhammer Underworld
A
warband.
while
Kingdoms
back, he
Hunter,
says.
Absolutely, and I think way back
4
then,
years
people were
ago.
speculating. Of course, Nagash didn't make just one bow, right? That would be a really strange thing to have done. He did, in fact, make loads of bows, and he's given it to his phalanxes.
We got our
and now you
Toki
can have
game
entire
aids, play
units
aids.
of bowmen in your Ossiarch Bonereapers army.
These
and
are
that does some
sick.
really fun stuff for you in terms of how you might approach building an army. You can now make
It appears
a
as
very
if they're using
shooty
bows
death army, which
correctly,
has never really been an
or
option
as
before.
close
You can
to it
have
as you
loads of these
can
backed up by
care.
your Mortek crawlers and things.
Yep.
You can absolutely
Should have
dominate
a
the
thing
shooting
here,
phase.
but that's
They've got some
fine.
really tasty rules in game. They've got a very respectable damage output with 2 shots each and a point of rend in there. And one of the things to watch on them is those little braziers that follow the unit around.
Yeah, these are my favourite guys in the kit, really. I like the little familiars and stuff. And these are Balefire Braziers you see in the bottom left of your screen right now. They're essentially tokens. What happens is if you fire the whole unit
Tokies.
at one enemy, once you're done, you place one of these Balefire Braziers on that unit. And that has a few effects. The most significant from my point of view is that that unit, while it's got that token on, can't heal wounds or get models back. And so instead you take that token off.
Okay.
And I rely as my Stormcast Eternal player on like repairing damage to my unit, and so it's quite damning. In addition to it looking fantastic with those shrieking faces in the
Dude, I like them. Dude, big bows.
The models
Those
are very
bows
cool
are
as well. I
fucking
like the
huge.
kind of one eye look that they've got as well. So obviously Nagash
got like
forges.
a bonus eye in their forehead.
Yeah, well, but it's maybe not quite where you'd expect it to be. Maybe it's like right at the top of where you'd hold an arrow. I don't know if it makes you better at shooting an arrow.
Do they
but
even see through eyes?
I don't know.
No, it does,
I haven't
they've rend.
tried, so, but anyway, they're quite good at shooting. You'll definitely see some in Ossiarch armies, and you can do some very fun stuff with your.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is great. This
next
is
up
wonderful.
another infantry unit for the army. These are the Mortis
Dude,
Reapers.
look at these
They are
dudes.
dread assassins from the realm of death.
Dual
They
wielding
use their Reaper's
sickles.
blades to butcher the enemy. specifically enemy heroes.
Yes, so this is a very
Oh,
useful
no,
unit for taking
enemy
on
heroes.
enemy heroes and kind of those little isolated useful units like wizards and
Oh,
priests and
no.
stuff like that. They've got two things that help them out with that. They've got anti-hero on all of their weapons. They also have the ability to effectively teleport through
Yes,
pieces
okay,
of
it had to
terrain.
be teleport.
So you
There
can
was
move
no other
towards
way.
a terrain feature. You can pick the unit up and you can redeploy it on the other side of that terrain feature. So you can catch out enemies that are trying to hide behind cover.
Well, it's a favourite tactic, right? You know,
Yeah.
park behind a piece of terrain and think you're safe, and these guys burst out the other side. That's quite nasty.
Dude, these
And
guys are
fantastic
sick,
in
though.
terms of imagery. This is a very different.
Nothing
look and feel to what
personnel,
we expect from
kid.
the Ossiarch Bonereapers, who are normally quite regimented and sort
They
of
remind me of the
militaristic.
witch
They used to sort of
hunters
frown upon
from
within,
Eldar
some of
or
the
Dark
Ossiarch,
Eldar or something.
Circles, isn't it? Some of
A
the-
little bit.
It's not quite the way it should be.
The
done.
old
Doesn't seem like
ones
it's fair.
with the
Like, they are all
Japanese
about rules,
pants,
aren't they?
you
The
know?
boss makes the calls. So
That's
that.
true. That's true. He's the boss.
So, to lead these new infantry models into combat, we have a new hero. This is a Liege Mortec.
This is Super Shredder.
A good, solid battle line leader to accompany
Yo,
the
the
troops.
chin
He has some
game.
good abilities in the game.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, he is useful to have an infantry hero. You can use him to wander around with your infantry phalanxes. He has a particularly cool little ability, which is that if he is in combat with an enemy unit and you activate him to fight, another unit nearby can fight or shoot into the same combat, and they get +1 to their hit rolls if they do. That stacks really nicely with that new
Shoot
archer
in,
unit,
huh?
Because effectively you can charge
Oh,
in with this
shoot
guy,
in.
and then they back him up with a rain of arrows
Yeah,
as he
absolutely.
slams into the enemy forces. So it's quite a kind of
Melee foot hero with
thematic
fight
look.
+1.
He
Yeah,
also
that's
stacks really
dumb,
nicely
but the
with
shoot
your
thing, that's
phalanxes of
interesting.
Spearmen and line infantry within the Ossiarch. So just a really solid, dependable hero to put in the military
Yeah,
army.
if you're going for Mortec Guard and Triaxes and Crawlers, you want a couple of these to keep everything operating.
As he
at maximum
slams into the enemy and rolls 4
that
attacks,
+1 bonus on those.
wounding with
Yeah,
1
it's
for 2
great.
damage.
Speaking of heroes, we also saw the Liege Cavalos on War Chariot. I feel like this is like something that Nagash dreamed and recalled from a world that was, you know, back from ancient Nehekara with their, you know, they were renowned for their chariots. And here we see a nightmare vision board.
Yeah,
to
this
the,
looks
the
great
mortal
as far
realms.
as chariots go. I just wonder
amazing.
what chariots are supposed to do in
the
AOS.
Ossiarchs are very much Nagash's idea of an ideal army. So obviously twisted through the filter of the god of death. But these are very powerful units in the game. There's 2 versions of this kit. There's one that you can make into a hero chariot, and there's also a kind of standard chariot. The hero chariot is a really, really durable unit. They both are, but the hero one has 12 wounds,
That's a lot of
3
killing.
up save and a ward save. So even without being fast and having lots of other abilities, he's just really hard to kill and get rid of. But he stacks really
No.
nicely if you send him in alongside some chariots, because
Not
he's
really.
got abilities that let them kind of grind into the enemy units even after they've charged in and done all their kind of damage and impact hits and stuff. You can keep just doing.
Your opponent
stacks
says they
and
look
stacks and
great,
stacks
then
of
kills
mortal
them
wounds
turn
into
2.
units.
Yeah, the idea here. I
Look,
think,
that's the game, that's
will
the
genuinely be
dance.
hammer and ambush
That's
strike,
what you
right?
do.
Use your undying legions, to
Especially
hold
if they
the
do
enemy
look
down,
cool,
and
you
just
gotta give it
smash them
up.
away with the hammer of the cavalry units and
Yeah, I
chariots.
think all the stuff coming out for Ossiarchs just gives them loads of new options.
yeah,
Because I think
totally.
there's been a couple of ways to play Ossiarchs for a little while now, but now you've got opened up a whole swathe of new things, right? So you could imagine armies that leaned really heavily into chariots and had death riders and stuff accompanying them.
Yeah.
You can imagine armies that lean really heavily into shooting. A combined arms list now looks really tasty. So there's loads of stuff that just
Loads.
opens up a new toolbox of stuff for Ossiarch armies.
Yeah, absolutely. What if you want to do something completely different? Well, we're releasing the Null Myriad Phalanx. This is the personal army of Arkan the Black, and it's an army of renown. So if you want to take an Ossiarch Bonereapers army with a slightly different feel,
War never
essentially
changes.
You don't have access to all of the units you would normally do, but you get some distinct bonuses. Essentially, Arkan and the wizards that accompany him.
You probably don't want
get
this box.
bonuses to make their spellcasting more effective and even better, and the whole army gets some arcane protection to sort of reduce the incoming.
They got the wrong
magic that comes
trousers
your
guy,
way.
cracking toast
It's super
grommet.
thematic. Arkan's like one of the top wizards of death, right?
Yeah, he's also been part of Warhammer for
A very
I
long
think
time.
40
Yeah, he used
plus
to be
years at
really
this point,
cool.
So, but if you like magic and you like Ossiarchs and you want to,
He's
just
much
go
less
all
cool
in for
nowadays,
magic,
but so is
this
everything
is,
else.
One of the ways that you can do it. This is a great little
Triple
box set to
caster
start
at
with.
plus
You can also just use this as
3,
the
I
start
want to
of
say,
any
maybe
Ossiarch
plus
army
2.
as well. Perfectly good
Increase the
start.
ranges of spells by
There's another box
6.
set on
There
their
is.
way
That
as
was
well.
fucking
So
sick.
here we have the Heralds of the Bone Tithe, which is a regiment of renown for them.
Yeah, so effectively, this means that you can put some of your Ossiarch units into any other death force. So if you have something like a Soulblight Gravelord's army, or a Nighthaunt army, or a Flesh Eater Court's army, you can send some of Nagash's tax collectors along with your force, so that when the battle has finished, they can go around the battlefield and gather up the bones of the fallen. There's some really nice little abilities in this unit. He's got a spell that means that if you cast it onto an enemy unit, they have to use a command point if they want to fight, which is
really nasty.
It's really, really good. You've got to get it cast. You've got to get it cast. So your opponent will know you're trying to do it. But there is a potentially game-winning little move in there. If you can stop an enemy unit from fighting because they've run out of command points, or make them use a valuable command point when they don't want to.
Boo
Just to do
earns.
something they would
Just to
normally
do
do for
and
free,
they
right?
normally do. That's
Regiments of
anything that you
renown,
can
armies
force
of
your opponent
renown.
to have to use resources they
Boo.
don't want to is
It
great.
feels like a really thematic use of Vokmortian, right?
Yes.
He's the
You
sort of
can make
master
allies
Valentine,
cool
he's
once the
like
actual
Calidor,
armies are
and
fun.
here he is, sort of bringing that into
Finish
the
your
battlefield.
peas.
There are only two things in life that are completely inevitable: is death and taxes, and this box is both of them. Speaking of death, this is the Death Battle Tome Ossiarch Bonereapers.
He's got a
contains
weird
everything
tiny
you
head.
expect to find in a battle tome. So this is full of brilliant lore about the Ossiarch Bonereapers and who they are and how they fight.
Giving the
as well
artist
as all of the
notes.
rules,
Okay, make
for
sure
everything,
render
we
it
talked
really
about.
well,
They've got
but make sure it's
interesting
boring
new
as
rule
fuck.
available to the army, which is Relentless Discipline. I'll just touch on it very
You've given
quickly,
us a
but
bunch
there's
of
like a
poses.
new
We've chose the
little,
boringest one
widget
to make you
attached to the
draw.
profile circle that you get. And the heroes essentially get Relentless Discipline points, which they can spend. So the Liege Mortek, this little guy here, gets 5, Nagash gets 10, and they can spend those throughout the game to gain some extra abilities. Really exciting. I've not collected any Ossiarch Bonereapers before.
Really exciting.
Diving into
Parenthetical. It should be noted that it was much more exciting in third
abilities
edition.
and combos and things you can do. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so you've got things that basically help you out in every phase. You've got things
I mean,
that
second
make you better
edition,
at
pardon
fighting
me.
or slightly more durable.
And then everyone
things
got
like
it in
that.
third.
And one of the things you want to do when you're putting your army together is go, how many heroes do I want so that I've got the right amount of tools and of these points to spend on my units? So it definitely rewards someone with a systematic and kind of strategic approach to putting an army together.
If you want to get a sense of the scale of things, we've got them here, and I'll put the Liege Cavalos alongside the Liege.
Remember when Relentless Discipline was unique and every army didn't have it? Yeah, that was cool. But they can't help themselves. When they come up with a good idea, they have to ruin it by making it not unique.
Wonderful.
Giving it to everyone.
Yeah, so
yeah, but both of these have got quite a lot of options and bits on them as well. So if you build either of these characters, you've got some.
Where's
spare
the
bits and
Liberator
you
for
can
scale?
Customize a little bit and choose whether you want to go with a spear or a sword or which of the various headdresses.
Just got here, what'd you miss? An actual great sculpt options for OBR.
I mean, that's what Nagash is doing. Really.
You
He's just
finally
getting all
got your
the
bow
bows, bit of a
guys.
pile and building his own thing, right? You too could be a Lord of Death.
Perfect. Right. That
Actually
is
cool.
not it for the Mortal Realms, however. We have another battle tome to show you that is coming out fairly
true.
soon. This is the Chaos Battle Tome Disciples of Tzeentch. And as you might expect, it
Hey, make
contains
sure the
everything you need
cover
to
is
know
really
about
ugly.
the, followers of the Changer of Ways
Ugh.
and all of his
Not a flattering
armies
image.
at his disposal. And it's not just a book that's coming out. We are also accompanying it with a new miniature, which is the Fate
One
Master.
foot
Any thoughts to tell us
hero,
about this?
please.
Yeah, so Fate Master is the general of the mortal armies of Tzeentch. Of course, they are a wizard because almost everybody who follows Tzeentch is in some way or shape or form a wizard. But primarily, they are leading things like your Akyrek acolytes and things like that into battle. Because this is a Tzeentch
Is this
in
a
general,
Slaanesh
they don't
model?
really play fair. So a lot of their tricks and things that they bring to the battlefield are less about winning in a straight fight and more about deceiving your opponent. So you can use some of their abilities to move your own units around the battlefield.
Wow, a
when the
book and
enemy
a guy.
comes within range to try and charge your units, all of a sudden they're not there anymore. They're actually on the flank, and you can engineer some very advantageous combats. So they are a great little unit. They are still a Chaos Lord, and they still fight in combat very effectively. But it's the
Press X
tricks
to
and the
doubt
strategic
on that
positioning
one.
stuff they bring to your army that makes them really pop in your games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still fights in
And
combat
there's
very
a
effectively.
new terrain piece for these, which is
Tzeentch
just
foot hero.
fantastic. This is the thing
Okay,
that's
these
exciting
are
about the,
sick.
Disciples of Tzeentch. These are the Argent Shards. Just
Argent
fantastic
energy.
embodiment of like the weirdness of Tzeentch, right? When you look at these and sort of the magic swirling around them.
All right,
There's
we're all talking
a story
shit,
being told
and
by
they
this model
deserve
which
it,
is borne
but
out
this
by the
is
rules
sick.
and the lore.
This is
Essentially,
great.
You see the one on the left on the screen sort of being torn apart. These drift around the battlefield. They're really useful. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But if one is destroyed, If you don't get them both, the other one will split and essentially make a new one. And so that you see it splitting apart. That's really part of
that's funny.
the story. It's just great.
Yeah, so they've
Yeah,
got
these are great.
2 abilities, effectively. One of them is that if one of them is on the battlefield, you can immediately make another one in your hero phase. And if you've got them on the battlefield, you can reposition them as well. And the reason you might want to reposition them is that your wizards can use them to channel their magic through. So if you're close to one of these and you're a Tzeentchian wizard,
Spell portal's
you've got
back,
loads of Tzeentchian
huh?
wizards if you've got a Tzeentch army, because that's kind of the whole army. You can use these to cast your spells further than you otherwise could. And if you're playing against them, you can't get rid of them unless you kill both of them at the same time.
Dude,
We've
we're
got them on the
remembering our
table here, so you get a
recipes
sense
with the
of
spell
scale. So
portal.
again, this is a fairly large infantry model that's like larger than the Stormcast Eternal there. So they're fairly big pieces of terrain.
Fairly big.
And they go back to that kind of classic Tzeentchian idea of the Silver Towers of Tzeentch, which has been part of their lore.
Okay,
for
these look
time
amazing.
immemorial. This is a
Spell
nod to
portal's
that.
Yeah,
back.
absolutely. You can see these cropping up.
Recipes
in
being remembered.
Any Tzeentch army.
Oh yeah, we were
conversions,
talking before about if
A
you've
nightmare
got
to transport.
1,000
No, they're
suns
just
on,
going to wiggle all
you're
around. They're
building
just
some
going to be
scenery or
wiggly.
something, you can imagine having
Absolutely
these mixed in amongst them,
shaking.
so make your battlefield look as Tzeentchian as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is not it.
You put
in
those
terms
on their
of,
side
battle
to
tomes,
transport them, I think.
Coming for the more realms. There is another one,
Three battle
almost
tomes.
equally magical as
Goodness.
well. These are, of course, the Order Battle Tome for the Lumineth Realm-lords. Again, everything
Lumineth
you
Realm-lords.
expect from a battle tome updated.
That cover's okay.
With, fantastic new lore and all of the rules and things you will need to.
Oh, baby,
play
a
your games.
triple.
The Lumineth Realm-lords army rules have had a shake-up, which is quite exciting. Eddie and I were talking with the team from the Warhammer studio all about that. And we don't possibly have time to go into all of those details here today, but we'll be covering it as we get closer on warhammercommunity.com.
Okay.
There's also a new model for them. The Lumineth Realm
Here's your
have
foot
been
hero.
also with Battlefield Wizards, but maybe
It's
not as many
the guy.
frontline fighting heroes. So this is a Venari Lord Regent.
Yeah, so the Lord Regent effectively leads your infantry phalanxes into battle.
Does
they
he?
are a very competent fighter. They're an elven lord, so they've got a very respectable combat stat line. But the real thing they bring to the battle are 2 special rules in terms of your game. One of them means that nearby Lumineth units, when they rally, because they are a shining example to their people, you get to roll extra dice into that, which is really useful if you're trying to bring back your model.
A shining example to their people.
So every elf that joins your force is very worthwhile. The other thing they do, if you put them alongside a unit of your wardens, which are your big kind of spear phalanx, they can basically have the phalanx advance into enemy units and cause a whole bunch of mortal wounds. So your big scary block of spearmen becomes even scarier.
Driving forward.
Yeah,
that
Interesting.
spear line.
So your spearmen
Very
can not only
interesting.
do mortal wounds when they fight, they can also just do it passively by existing and pushing forward into the enemy force.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
You've seen
neat
on the
alt
screen now
build.
that the kit has some variants, so you can build it in a couple
Quite
of
the
ways.
chin,
Or mix and match,
you know?
maybe get some spares. And we've got
Little
them
elf
actually on the desk in
chinian.
front of us if you want to have a look. The thing that I like about the sort of the difference in
Cape
is,
game.
You can see this one's got like a little amphora on his back, and then this one obviously has got this sort of
Page
double
of
banner.
Chinmar.
Very catchy.
2 back
Yeah,
banners
they've got
definitely
that
in this season, isn't it?
Oh, I tell you what. Banners are back, it seems. Banners back. That's good.
Double
So
bannies.
there we go. Again, just a great hero for your Lumineth Realm-lords. We've got some questions. They've been flooding in through the chat.
Do my best.
Actually, the first question really hits near my heart. It says from Prime Chatmandu. It says, "Do you ever get nervous when you're touching Evermore miniatures?" Let me tell you, I am terrified every time I touch Evermore miniatures.
When they hand them over, they sort of scowl.
Yeah, well,
so we're not really allowed to.
Each of these represents like dozens, if not hundreds, of hours of work, right, by the best painters in the world, and they need to be treated that way. The first ever battle report I played years and years ago, I dropped a hell cannon, and I've always been nervous about it ever since. Next question is. Can I use, and it's talking about the Liege Mortec, this is from Priminus Lamp, can I use this as a MOE proxy? I think you mean Master of Executions, and I think you need to do quite a lot of conversion work to do that. But that said, doing kit bashing is half the fun of this hobby, right? I'm looking at all those Red Corsairs, just imagining stealing the heads for my armies. So, yeah, maybe.
Kit bashing.
And then, always good for a fun question is, from Fossil Fracas, if the new Chariot and the Sunstealer Wheeler got into a race, who would die first?
Oh,
Well, I would argue that the Ossiarch Bonereaper is already dead.
I think the Sunstealer Wheeler is faster, probably, but it's tortoise and hare, isn't it? You probably get bored about halfway through the race and
He's
stuff.
never going to outlast the dead, is he?
No, probably not.
Perfect. Look, that was all a bit of fun. Thank you for keeping your questions coming in.
Just you know,
We're gonna
Masters
go
of
now from the
Executions
Mortal
proxy
Realms
is a total
to
meme question
a
about
very
limited
unusual
world
place,
eaters
which
range
is
in
the
40k. They
gridiron,
just got
as we
punked
keep
alive
the
on
theme of
Okay.
elves,
All right. I'm not.
And we go to Blood
I don't know
Bowl.
enough
So,
about 40k. Anyway,
time
good
for us to
shit.
talk a little
If it
bit
was a meme,
about
nice.
the latest Blood Bowl team to approach the gridiron. These are the Calidor dragons, and I got some things
Damn,
to say.
I hate this.
This is
Don't
a
like it.
classic Blood Bowl team which has been like around for a very long time, and now it is.
Why do they
redone
got
and
shorts?
updated
Why
in
do they got
plastic,
boy shorts on?
for the modern era. Season 3 of Blood Bowl launched just recently, and I'm really excited for these. I think
Damn, I
this
really
might
don't
be
like
the
Blood
last
Bowl,
of the
I gotta
classic
say.
teams that we're waiting to see.
Could be right. Could be right.
Anyway, if you know the Calidor Dragons, you might know what to expect, but they have 4 positionals, and each of them fills a very specific role within the Blood Bowl.
Man, I
game.
remember when
So the
these
first
guys
up
were
is
in
the
Age of
Dragon
Sigmar.
Princes.
That was
So,
cool.
they
Remember
are
that?
essentially the show stealers of the gridiron.
Remember when you could
Calidor
play
Dragons.
these in AOS? That
Incredibly
was
skilled
cool.
Players. They've got a fantastic stat line. They have great rules as well. So in addition to block, which you'd expect, because
Did you miss the ogre reveal? I was not expecting it, and it didn't happen.
Down, so you can use that against any of the circumstances which might come up. They also are penalised by a little rule which is known as my ball, which means they can never give the ball
My
away. no matter what.
ball.
Don't like sharing.
So the trick with this is to burst through the enemy pitch, get down the field, and then get the ball to this guy. So he doesn't have to give it away. He can just go and score a touchdown instead. Next up, we have the White Lions. The High Elf team is a little bit different to some in that it doesn't really have a catcher archetype. Instead, you've got the White Lions, which are another blitzer almost. They don't have block, but they do have wrestle, which is a very good skill to make sure that you don't get stuck with a turnover
Elven
if the tackle goes
thighs.
weird and
It's a
both
religion
knock
of peace.
If you're both lying down.
TJ.
Lion, oh my word. The claw is not just symbolic. They have the claws.
Ascended
special
Korg's
rule.
cool, man.
What
I
that
know.
means is that they never need more than an 8+ to bust the armor when you're making the armor roll, having successfully like hit somebody. That's really useful. The third of the sort of skilled positionals are the Phoenix Warriors. The Phoenix Warrior really fills the role of thrower, and this is one of the best throwers on the Blood Bowl pitch, like of any team. Fantastic stat line, really, really great at making sure the ball goes to where you need it. So they have those throwing skills that you would expect. Also, they have Cloud Burst, which is so good. Essentially, Cloud Burst gives you a real advantage in that when you lob that ball, the enemy can't make intercept rolls against you. So imagine your Dragon Prince has burst through, he's far down the field, you just one nice clean lob shot all the way down the pitch, and nobody can catch it instead. It's great.
What I love about all of these miniatures is that they look like the Blood Bowl incarnations of the classic
Absolutely so,
old
right?
world units. So like the Phoenix Guard, the White Lions, the Dragon Princes, they just like look exactly like those, but in shorts.
Yeah, exactly. So lots of like
But
colours
in
and
shorts.
thighs on display, but otherwise it is just pure Blood Bowl fun. Right, this is the 4th position. They're the High Elf linemen. In some ways, the linemen are like the boring part of your Blood Bowl team, but High Elf linemen are really good. Right, let's not beat around the bush. They've got great stat lines. They've got decent armor. They've got no skills to speak of, but they're reliable. The only downside is at 65,000, I think it is, to recruit them. You don't get a massive team. You know, I started my Blood Bowl time
It's
playing
definitely
with halflings.
an elite finesse team.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and so you've got to get everything like acting in the way it's supposed to, and I guess you need these to do some of the heavy lifting in terms of maybe making tackles or throws or catches themselves. The kit also contains, crikey, I've talked a lot here. It also contains the balls,
$65,000 for 8 models.
everything that you would expect. for
What
you
is
to,
this?
mark
Ghost of Christmas Future,
and there'll be a spike journal that
2036,
comes out alongside
normal
all of
Games
this,
Workshop prices.
when, it releases, which is full of all of the stories and the lore behind it, and information about different High Elf teams and all of that good stuff.
And dice in the pitch and all that.
Beta
jazz.
Games
Yeah, I
2911,
think,
thanks for the
you talked a
Prime.
little bit about how
22
they
months.
key
Big
into sort
stream
of the classic imagery of the High Elves. I think one of the things that I really like is that bleeds into the rules in a way. The Dragon Prince is extremely arrogant.
They're like your shock
The-
troops.
Exactly,
That go up
and
the middle.
White
yeah.
Lion, they were once the hunters traditionally, right? And so like,
So
that
if the
claw
enemy's got
rule-
a troll, you're like,
exactly.
you're going down troll.
That claw rule lets them go in and bust open, I don't know, Chaos Warrior armor or whatever it might be. Yeah, really, really great. Very exciting to see these finally reach the gridiron. And there we go. That is your Blood Bowl section. Pretty exciting. Coming to
Pretty
a
exciting.
pitch near you. Next up, he says, we have a little bit of an animation clip to show some people.
Oh, animation?
Yeah, absolutely. So next up, we have a new clip from Penitence, which is the new Warhammer 40,000 animation on its way for Warhammer Plus very soon.
Oh, cool. Can I watch it on
Here are
Netflix?
The first 2 minutes of that show.
Wait, this is already kind of good.
For too long, Ephesian 4 has been bereft of the Emperor's light. Like so much of our benighted Imperium, it clings on. A candle flickering in darkness. Our mission
Jamaican
is of
Sisters of Battle.
sacred importance. The enshrinement of our fallen Canoness Rexilla. She will be a beacon, a rising call to the faithful.
I'm going to be honest with
She
you.
will mark
This
Ephesian
voiceover
4
is
as
unnecessary.
enshrined. The
Like, we're getting everything from the visuals. You don't need the voiceover. You can actually just get rid of it. Keep the sound diegetic. Like, we're getting visual storytelling already.
We shall risk everything for this.
Literally cut the dialogue.
We will not fail. For to do less would be to fall short of what our Emperor demands. By fire.
Yeah, it is more
and
Nigerian. You're
faith,
right. Now that I'm
we
listening to it. Headphone users, I guess. What are the horses doing on screen? Who did that?
This test begins.
Which chat person put the horses on there?
Eddie, that was awesome. What can you tell
All
us
right.
about Penitence?
Which one of
this
you
is the
chatters
new
put the
animation
horsies on
its way for Warhammer
screen?
Plus. This is an Adeptus Sororitas animation
shit.
featuring the Order of the Sacred Rose, which is I think we haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are
Oh,
on a
no,
sacred
you're right.
mission
Yeah,
to
that's part of
found
the
new
animation.
Shrine world. They have a sacred relic, and they have to get it to the Shrine world. Obviously, the mission doesn't quite go to plan, as you saw there. Their ship is intercepted by some orcs and downed, and then they have to trudge across this wasteland to get their relic to where it needs to go. The orcs in this are snakebite orcs, which
Cool.
is pretty cool. We haven't really seen snakebite
More
orcs in animation before.
horses.
Snakebites, of course, famous for bringing along gribbly squiggly beasts with them, and I can confirm there is a squig in this animation.
Nice. So we get both a cyber cherub and a
They
squid
keep
in.
doing it.
Absolutely spoiled. Yeah.
Living the dream. So when does it arrive?
So this
Finally.
is on its way in February.
good shit. I
The
love that
first episode,
interactive
it'll be a
Twitch
three-part
stuff. Good work.
animation with the first one landing in February, so not very long to wait at all.
More
Fantastic.
horsies.
So if you are not familiar with Warhammer TV, it's available through your Warhammer Plus subscription, and it gives you access to loads of animations and
Can the streamer
shows that are made by
disable
the
it?
team
They
in-house
sure
with gaming
can.
and lore and all that sort of thing. So if you want to watch this as it comes out, make sure you get yourself a subscription and join in. It's going to be great.
Exactly that.
Nice one. Right. So there were some questions in the Blood Bowl section.
Anyway, good troll.
that, I got hold of late, and my favourite question was Custodes when? Well, I'd like to tell you when.
There they
We're going to
are.
go to all the way back to the Age of Darkness with this.
All right, muting the butt rock. Oh, the horsies, they're... Yay. Oh, shit. Horse guard. To me, my horse brothers. Horse gang. Hey, I'm new to AOS. Is there a reason why there's more order factions than Death and Destruction combined? Yes. Anything I say will be interpreted as mean. Weird internal politics, lackadaisical attitude for releases, unserious production schedules, just kind of doing stuff.
A shield captain and a grav tank. Let's talk about those in detail. These, of course, are the Custodian Guard Sodality. Eddie?
This is a Custodian Guard Sodality. They are the archetypal
Custodian
image of a
God.
Custodian. They are towering guardians, each one with a guardian spear, able to chop the enemy up in close combat and blast them apart at range. They are a brand new plastic kit, a slight readjustment, I suppose, of the proportions of the Custodians, but still very recognizably the Custodians that you know and love, the guardians of the Emperor, and still in the Horus Heresy at this point, successful.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't dropped the ball yet. The kit is, as I said, it was multi-part plastic. There's some options in there. You've got these high-helmed, high-plumed helmets that you can see here. There's some bear heads in the kits that you can build your models.
You got
whether
the
they're
6
willing to
Horse
risk it
Lords
on the
here
base or
coming
not, it's
in.
your choice.
The
And
horsies.
then there's option for the Vexilla in there, so you can carry proud standard of Imperial.
Yeah, where's the
rule.
shirtless
You've
option?
got all the Misericordia as you'd hope as well.
Yeah,
the little
absolutely.
kind of stabbing daggers that the custodians have.
They're just dripping in all the paraphernalia and a power that you'd expect from the.
These heads are
Emperor's
actually
most elite
quite
warriors.
nice, those two.
Here you can see some of the
Those two heads
that are
pretty
available
good.
to the kit.
That we
so
saw.
You can do a mixture or all of one style, whatever it is. That,
Yeah, it's just
suits
just
you
a
really.
monk, right?
You've
Like a
already said it, but
complete
for me,
monk
this is
head.
the
That's kind of nice.
quintessential image of the Legio Custodians.
Don't like
These,
that one.
Serried ranks of sort of spear wielding.
That's not a good one.
Warriors. I love it. They're not the only sodality. In
Yeah,
the
these two I
Custodians Battle
like
Group box set though.
for the
You also have
heads.
the Sentinel Guard, who are essentially the same kind of unit, but these are equipped with Presidium shields and Custodian Warblades.
Yeah, so another effectively battle line unit of custodians. A normal custodian, such a word.
I don't know if I like this guy either.
These ones are a little bit more defensive and a little bit less killy, but every custodian is a master of death and very, very durable. These ones have shields, which in your games of Horus Heresy can allow them to use shield wall special rules and make them a bit more durable against incoming fire, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, and their invulnerable save is better because of those shields as well. They're just great, and so essentially you're just making that choice, aren't you, between these two units?
A little bit killier or a little bit more defensive.
And you probably, in truth, want a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Of course, there was more in that big army shot.
Who's this
that we saw
Papa
than
John's
just
looking
these
at
two,
this motherfucker
sodalities. Next up, we
with
have the
no
Shield
neck
Captain.
having?
I am unapologetic in that this is my favourite of the models in this custodian release. I genuinely think this is incredible. The level of detail that they have captured on it is so good. It comes with a couple of options. Here you can see the helmeted head and the unhelmeted head. I really like that golden laurel wreath that has been sort of woven into her hair. If you don't know
not
about
a flattering
custodian
look.
Shield captains, these are essentially a top tier fighter on the battlefront. They can go up against anything up to and probably including the first captains of the Space Marine Legions. If you're not a Primarch, it is not a pushover. And even if you are, be careful.
Yeah, a shield captain backed up by a squad of custodians can happily take on a Primarch level character and up against anything that's a Space Marine, unless you've got a very, very impressive sword of some sort. You're definitely going to come out on the wrong side of that fight. The miniature is absolutely
So good,
dripping
yeah.
in detail. I think one of the things you can just
Dripping
see
in
in that
detail.
rotating image there is the text on the inside of the shield.
We got quite excited about this earlier on, didn't we?
So one of the concepts of custodians generally is that they write their honor name inside their armor, and the idea here being that the titles that this warrior has achieved throughout their career
Margaret Thatcher
have been so
captain.
extensive that the achievements have gone beyond their armor and onto the shield itself.
Yeah, absolutely. A really fantastic model, and I wonder if we'll be talking about this as one of the models of the year this time next year. There's more inside this battle group than
I hope they
we've
do
shown you so
better
far.
than
We go
that.
to the vehicles. So first of all, you have the Custodian Dreadnoughts.
Big night.
There's two variants. You can choose which one you're going to build. The first of which is the Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought. It is equipped with an Achilles War Spear, which is like the length of 3 men.
It's just a giant guardian spear, basically, isn't
absolutely.
it? If you get put inside a dreadnought
kinda
and you've been a
big.
custodian, you're like, I really like stabbing people with a spear. Can I continue to do that? And the answer was a firm yes.
Yeah, and it's phenomenally dangerous. Big damage. It can. It's got armor bane, so vehicles
Clydesdale
are in real
warrior.
trouble. For me, this is my favourite of the two.
When we're
I'm
getting
sure
the
you'll have in a second.
Wensleydale warrior.
But look at the pose that you've got on it. This kit is really poseable. They've made the most of the sort of multi-part plastic functionality that this kit enables to give you something really special.
Yeah, the Contemptor Dreadnoughts, all of the Contemptor Dreadnoughts, but particularly the Custodian ones, have been available in resin before, obviously,
Yep.
and they've always been kind of highly posable. None of that posability has been lost in the transition to plastic, and actually it's now an even easier material to work with. And
Plastic.
you've got more options and ways of building, so
More
you can include
options.
half a dozen of these dreadnoughts in your army if you wanted to, and every single one of them could look completely unique and different in terms of posing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the other one then. So this is the Contemptor
Hey,
Galaxy
do that
Dreadnought.
for Mega Gargants,
again,
why
This
don't
one's my
you?
favorite. I think
There you go.
he looks absolutely awesome. There's something about a dreadnought with a massive shield and a massive sword that just absolutely works for me.
He's
And
big.
it mirrors the two different core unit types within the custodians,
Exactly
right?
so.
You've got one with the spear, the more aggressive one. You've got one with the shield and the sword, the more defensive one. So if you wanted to, you could pair them up, right? You could have the shield one walk around
It
with
would
your
be
shield
kinda cool,
custodies and your spear one go alongside the warriors that they fought with in life.
Yeah, the Contemptor Galatus has the Galatus Warblade. That is just going to cut through like medium and heavy infantry like nothing. A thing to bear in mind about these is every dreadnought is piloted by like a fallen warrior, right? That is entombed within the sarcophagus. Just bear in mind
Potato
that the
on
warrior that was
legs.
piloting this was a custodian, the absolute fighting elite of the Imperium, handpicked and created by the Emperor. These are really, really dangerous on the tabletop. In addition to all of that armor, they're phenomenally skilled warriors still.
Yeah, a very, very good stat line. They can wade into whole phalanxes of enemy Space Marines and chop them to bits.
Yeah.
Very satisfying. They look great, though.
The final thing that's inside that custodian battle group box is this. This is the Calidor Annihilator grav tank. We'll talk more about other grav
That's
tanks
an
in a
interesting
minute,
tank.
But essentially, think of this as a main battle tank for the Legio Custodes.
I don't know if it
force.
quite fits their aesthetic
It's
to me.
equipped with an Arachnus blaze
With those
carronade,
pontoons on each side of
sort
it.
Double-barreled weapon you see.
I
on
like
top.
the tank.
This is a
Like, I appreciate
ranged
its
weapon with
look.
2 fire modes.
I don't know if
the
it
first of
fits.
which is anti-tank. You're thinking 2 shots at strength 10, just blasting vehicles
Armorbane.
apart. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. And then its alternate fire mode is multi-shot and is great at gunning down heavier infantry.
Yeah.
So I think that we were talking about before, and I think you made a really good point of, was stuff in the Legio Custodes force needs to often do 2 things.
Yeah, because you're almost always outnumbered,
Yeah.
both in terms of how big your units are, but also in terms of how many units you have on the battlefield. So it's not enough.
You like the
that you've
tank
got
with
a unit
Gerald
that's
Mega
very good at
biased? I
killing
like the
tanks.
tank too. I
It
just
might
don't know if
also
it
need to do
fits
some double duty
what
to,
I've seen from
pitch
Custodes
into
so
the
far.
battle against enemy heavy infantry, or support your units, whichever thing is
This
currently
one's
giving
got kind
you
of a
challenges.
Silver Age look
so
to it.
most units in the Custodian army are
I don't know
quite
anything
good at
about
several
40k or
things.
Yeah,
Horus
absolutely
Heresy.
so.
I'm just saying.
Those are the units that make up the Custodian Guard battle group that we've shown at the start. There are more units coming along the way.
Yeah,
all
that'll
all
be
in
the
plastic.
first thing you can buy. That'll be
Absolutely.
if you want to go all in for a new Custodian army, that'll be the first thing. But
Don't they
your
have hover
reinforcements
bikes?
are hot on
I
their
don't
heels.
know.
Exactly so. So next is the Calidor.
If they do, I hope
it is
not.
Very similar to the
Hover bikes are a
Calidor
stupid
Annihilator
idea.
grav tank.
But
It's
then
just
again,
not an
bikes are a
Annihilator.
stupid
Instead,
idea.
It has an Iliastus
Too mean.
accelerator cannon on its roof. Think Sikaran battle tank from the Space Marine Legions, if you know the setting and you know the war
Their tank
gear.
is
It's similar,
100% Custodes.
but a
All their
gun
tanks look
version of
exactly
that
like this.
kind of
Oh,
weapon.
so it's like a theme of our
So
vehicles
decent
then.
fire
Okay.
rate, gonna maul medium and light vehicles and pretty much any infantry you put in front of it. This is a big, heavy-duty tank.
Yeah, it's another great option for a line battle tank. You won't get many tanks in a Custodian army just because everything costs so many points, but there's certainly a place for one of each of these in a 3,000 point force.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking on the theme of the grav tanks, we have the biggest of all of them, which is the Coronis grav carrier. This thing is enormous. We've
The
got one on the list in
Coronis
front of us. We'll
big
show you in a
carry. It
minute.
carries
But,
gravity.
essentially, this is big enough that it can carry an entire sodality of Custodian Guard and an accompanying hero.
Yeah, you get a kind of a sense of how big it is there. 'Cause you can see the
Sodality.
Custodians next to it. Remember that those are Terminator-sized miniatures, so this is a big old tank.
It really is. It's not unarmed as well. You can see the guns on it.
It's
but the one
just
to
a
talk about maybe is the
cube.
Neutronium Cascade projector.
I
Sounds
like
cool.
it.
We'll tell you more
I
about
like
that another
it.
time. But essentially, it's a powerful gun in its own right. So in addition to disgorging the most elite
Big
fighting units in
cube
the galaxy
tank.
onto the tabletop, it's also hosing you with devastating firepower.
It's great.
And all of these are plastic as well. This is
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
huge plastic kit.
Huge
Additionally,
plastic
you might
kit.
have seen in the video that we saw before, you have the Venetari sodality. So these are elite hunter-killer strike troops within the Legio Custodes, borne aloft on these sort of gold wings, on contrails of fire, diving deep into the heart of the enemy.
Yes, this is your kind of rapid strike, fast attack choice for the Legio Custodes. You've got a couple of options there. You've got the spear, or you've got
These look a little weird.
buckler and pistol. Both of those are very lethal. They also all come as standard with Misericordia and effectively like ancient grenades from a bygone era that are more powerful than even things like the melter bombs of the Space Marine Legions.
Yeah, these are some dangerous guys.
Hey, can you play this in
kinetic destroyers,
40K?
which is the sort of handgun
Because there
looking
is
thing
a
you can see
Custodes army
as
in
a really
40K.
powerful hand cannon, basically. The
Or are they
Tarsus
each
Buster, which
separate,
is the strength of
like
incoming enemy
like Old
fire.
World is?
Or if you equip them with the Veritu,
Just to make
the
everyone
Veritu
suffer?
Lance, say that fast. Really great on the charge. So options a go for you to get
Just
the
in
most out of
case
these.
your Custodians weren't scary enough, now they're faster than everyone as well, and there's no escape.
You can see here the front. I believe that is the Neutronium Cascade.
They euthanize you if you try.
I think you're right.
Delivering fun into the heart of the enemy.
Because I saw the Martian guys have a
all of
lot
this
of cool stuff in Horus Heresy.
And, where you find it exists in the Custodes Liber, which we'll show you here. There you go. It's a big book. It's hardback. It's lovely.
big book.
It's full of all the lore and the stories and information that you need to learn about the.
So they just have the STL
Legio
file on
Custodes
the
lore,
cover?
not really Adeptus them.
The rendering.
And in addition to
Okay.
that, it talks about other elements of the Imperial household. So
Yep. So you've got the Anathema Psychana, the Sisters of Silence, and you've
It's a
also got
plastic
the
refresh of all the
Assassinorum.
resin
So you've
stuff.
got all the
Okay, so
various
that's
tools of
good.
the Imperial household.
Yeah, resin is
the stuff
trash.
that the Emperor kept to himself on Terra as his personal army. All very, very powerful forces in their own right.
Yeah, perfect. So we've got the models in front of us. It'll be fun to do a little bit of show and tell. First of all, we have a little stunt guy in the front.
Heresy Bob for scale here.
A happy little solo auxiliary, and let's just stand him alongside the shield captain for context and scale.
I'm just going to get you a nice close in a second, guys, just so you get a sense of how big these are.
I'll slide him back.
The 30k Custodes now officially look better than the heroic sized 40k
so
stuff.
The Custodian Guard are big, right?
Well, that's not a surprise to me. Everything I've seen from 30k looks way better than 40k stuff.
These elite warriors. The only thing
Almost
better, I suppose,
everything
the
is
Primarchs.
just straight up much better
things
looking
didn't go wrong.
than
And half of them
30k.
went bad,
Yeah,
really.
right,
So I mean, maybe
exactly.
they're the best they got.
And then you can see the scale of the
I'm
other
sure there are
things,
exceptions,
so
but
you put
as
the
an
little guy up
outsider, just the
alongside
stuff
ground
I've seen
carrier,
from 30k.
It's just enormous. This thing is huge.
It's
If I
interesting
spin it round
in ways
you
that
can see
40k
the
isn't.
entrance hatch.
It's like bigger than your hand, Adam. It's a big old thing.
So it's got this really cool entrance hatch. I was looking at some frames, and that's detailed on the inside. So I think if you're one of these modelists who likes to do that sort of thing, you might be able to like have it open or make a diorama or whatever it is you want to do. Yeah, so I think people are going to have a lot of fun with this, and
Just the size of the thing.
it's really cool, isn't it?
The size of the thing.
What else is there to say on these? We should talk a little bit about the dreadnoughts. If you look at the sort of the
They're
chest
big.
armor on them, if I tilt them, you
Yeah,
might
so
be able to
there's a
see.
few different options on there, actually. I was looking at the kits before. You've got options for things like the shoulder pads. So if you've got multiple dreadnoughts, you can have slightly different shoulder pads. There's some nice little areas for heraldry. So these ones have got some heraldic devices designed onto them. There's some different faces, I think, in the kit. You've got some different chests. You've obviously got the different weapons. So you've got loads of ways of making these really different.
Loads.
There's loads of detail on them. So, but a lot of it's kind of sculpted on. So you could paint them very quickly if you wanted to. If you wanted to, spray them gold, put a wash on them. They look pretty
You're
great.
almost ready for war.
Yeah,
at
they're
that
kind of
point,
ready.
aren't you? Yeah,
But it
absolutely.
also, if you wanted to spend hours and hours and hours and make these, the best model you've ever painted, they are a fine candidate for that as well. They are just really, really lovely models to put your hobby hours into and get something really nice out of it. The other thing that is worth saying about a lot of these miniatures is they will obviously have some dual purpose in Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Absolutely.
So if you have an Adeptus Custodes army, things like the Dreadnoughts obviously are already a data sheet in your force. You already have data sheets for things like Custodians with Guardian Spears and with shields.
Shield captains are an
Shield
absolute shoo-in,
captains as
right?
well. So lots of these, if you wanted to put them into your Warhammer 40,000 army, there's absolutely no reason not to.
Yeah, perfect. So we're not done with the Horus Heresy. There's still more.
There's still more.
A little bit for the Legiones Astartes. First up, we have the Legion Glaive Super Heavy Tank. You were really
It is
excited.
a cool
this is
tank.
my
Look, it
favourite.
looks
This is my favourite
cool.
super heavy, and I think it's mostly because I just love Volkite. There's something
It
about
is a
it
cool
that's just
looking gun, isn't
like
it?
intrinsically heresy for me.
Dude, this is a good
and this is
tank.
the largest plastic Volkite gun we have ever seen.
Big
Not
gun.
counting things like stuff on Titans that we might have seen in epic scale.
Yeah,
in
in
the
tiddly
past.
tiny scale.
But it is an absolutely
HDMI
enormous tank.
cannon.
Obviously, the Fellblade is the same chassis, but this has, I think, a cooler looking gun. Although I know you're a big fan of
So
the
Fellblade is the one for me, but I can't deny the coolness of this. The panning shots that you're getting right now
Dude, the
really
big
just show
gulp.
how cool and detailed this model is, right? That camera is so close to
Wide
the model,
mouth gun.
and it just looks just crisp and brilliant and exciting.
Crisp.
This one, of course, painted in Iron Warriors colours.
Yes, well-
it also looks equally good in the other 17 available colours.
Yeah, I would think so. Better maybe in the colours of the first, I think. But, who am I to judge? It is a Volkite carronade, if you're wondering. It's just an enormous gun that will deflagrate your enemy should you so
great
desire.
words, great special rule.
It's not the only.
Why are there like 20
Astartes
Warhammer 40k
tank
reveals and only
available.
3 for Age
There
of
is also
Sigmar?
the
Because that's
return
like
of
directly
a Star
proportional to
Wars
how
of
much
the
each
Legiones
game
Astartes
makes them
and
in
the
money.
Space Marines of the 41st Millennium as well, with the Whirlwind missile tank.
There's something just kind of lovable about the Whirlwind. This is
It's a change in the scale and
it's just
magnitude
nice,
here,
it's just
isn't
nice.
it?
It's got a very useful little artillery piece. Does lots of useful, very cool stuff for you in the game. This is a long-range artillery support piece that can reach enemy units where most of your things can't.
This
get
is
to
like a
them.
funny little
Lots of
guy.
the different missiles you can give it have morale sapping effects, basically.
Yeah,
so
so
it's a debuffing
If you put,
piece
so
of artillery.
it comes with explosive standard. You upgrade those missiles to Pyrax if you want. At which point you can literally just drive people off of objectives by causing panic. fantastic for shifting, hard to move. You know, when normally you're trying to kill.
This one's weird because this is a
dozens of models playing
transport, right?
objectives.
So it's weird to have a
whereas
transport
Make
and
that walk
long-ranged
off.
artillery
Yeah,
on the
just give it to
same
you.
We
vehicle.
were talking before. This is obviously
Feels
painted
like
up
it's
in the colours
mixing
of the
roles too
Imperial
much.
Fists. We thought it was quite amusing that it's done as a Templar
Yep.
because they're obviously the keenest usually to get into close combat.
You can imagine how that went. It's like, my Lord Dawn, I'm now a Templar brother and I'm itching to serve. And he's like, sit in this at the back, please.
Oh, maybe a punishment, perhaps.
Maybe he just likes Sigismund too much. Who knows? It is fantastic, and we're very excited for it. Where will you find all the information you need for these? Well, thankfully, there is a new journal tactic on the
Mailed
horizon.
Fist.
It's called Mailed Fist, and it details the Legionaries Astartes super heavy tanks. Lots of lore, organization charts.
Chassis is
and
used for
information on
transports,
how
but
they
can be
will field
reconfigured to be
the
tanks or
operations that
artillery.
they fulfill,
Oh, so it's
that sort of
not a
thing,
transport;
as well
it's
as
just
some
using
rules,
the
including
chassis.
the rules for the
Okay.
returning whirlwind.
Absolutely. And those of you with eagle eyes may have spotted there is one Ultramarine
There we
in this
go.
preview.
Ultramarine fans,
We
fear
are
not, we've got you.
contractually obligated to include at least one Ultramarine Space Marine in every preview, and
It's
you can see him
true.
there,
They
about
did
to be
it.
crushed under the uncompromising wheels of
Funny
the
meme.
Iron Warriors.
If he's not dead yet, he will be soon. Perfect. So that was great. Loads of stuff for the Horus
Loads.
Heresy. I'm going to quickly dive into the questions and see where we are at. Right. So we've got: will the Custodes be playable in Warhammer 40,000? That's from Blood of Dead. Well, you've
I
covered that
think we've
one
sort
already.
of covered that one.
Loads
We've
of those
covered
models
that
will
one.
be- and it's really worth saying again, if it's got a analogous unit in Warhammer 40,000, by all means use it. If it suits you, that would be great. Will we ever see more Sisters of Silence? And the answer to that is they have rules, and all of their lore and stuff is contained within that Liber Custodes. So you can continue to field them. I hope one day we'll get more cool models for them as well.
There's no new Sisters of Silence in this particular wave of releases,
But they
there's
are very
absolutely-
much catered for.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason that we wouldn't in the future, and they absolutely feature in the rules in this expansion.
And the question is, can
That's
you
a
tell us how many
no.
heads there were? I probably could have done, but I forgot.
When can we expect a horse-themed Space Marine chapter?
How many heads for-
How many bear heads? I think you get enough to do all of the models.
Yeah, we're
I
getting
think
an
you do,
ogre
yeah. So if
teaser
you
at
want
the
an
end.
entire squad in
We just
helmets,
got to
you can
wait
do it that way. If
post
you want an
credits,
entire squad
you
in
know.
Bear heads, you can do it that way as well, I think.
Perfect. But don't make your buying decision based on what I said right now, because I might be
Yeah.
wrong.
I had a question earlier on that I actually got wrong.
Oh,
I
go
just wanted
on.
to revisit.
This
So somebody asked
company
if the,
doesn't even
Corsair
think
unit was
people
able to
make
join,
buying decisions. They
Buren's
just buy.
bodyguard was able to join another unit. I said it wasn't. It is.
And I don't know.
Nice.
Every year they're
So
proven
from
right.
that,
So
And the last question, this is
Fuck
from
me.
Love George, and the question is, in relation to the tank, is this plastic? Everything we've shown in this entire preview is in plastic. So I don't know which tank you meant, but the answer is yes. The Coronas
Good,
Grav
yeah.
Carrier, the
Well, you know, they're trying to become
both
a
the
plastic
tanks, the super
company.
heavy, all of it. It's
None of this
plastic all
Do
the
you want
way
to
up.
just get a
hideous
shot of
resin
the,
shit.
Grav Carrier next to
The scale of the thing is
Yeah.
quite fun, isn't it? So try not to scrape the metalwork against each other. So I'm going to put them so they're sort of end to end. You can get a sense of how big they are if
Big.
we get the camera on those. It is very nearly super heavy size. the
It's really
Coronas.
not far off. It's certainly not quite as bulky, perhaps.
I
as
think
the
they might
Space
travel in
Marines.
more comfort. Than
They
the-
Quite not as
definitely do, yes. They have a bit more
bulky.
space
Space Marines.
inside there, perhaps.
Fantastic.
But it's a big old tank, certainly.
Right.
just big
There we
tank.
go. We are not quite done yet.
We're
did
not quite
promise
done
you
yet.
that we would return to the grim darkness of the far future, and here we are with a little teaser.
A teaser. Orc. Orc looking. The Clar. The reign of Iron approaches. Okay, so
Well,
not an
that
orc.
was a tease, wasn't it?
So that could mean almost anything.
It could. All we
mean
know
almost
is that the reign of iron approaches, and some of you may have been able to form your own opinions on things that maybe were being hinted at with hazard stripes and sort of.
I don't know
burnished
what this
plastic silver
means.
armor. Who
I don't know
knows?
the
If
implications.
you want to have a look at those images again, hop over to warhammercommunity.com. There'll be an article appearing there. If it's not already there, it'll be very soon.
Puerto
And you can,
Rabo.
maybe glean a few more bits of
The
information.
Primarch.
That brings us
Turbo
to the end of our
Peter,
preview. If you've
one
enjoyed
calls
this and
him.
you want
Okay.
more Warhammer for tonight, over in the US at Palm Springs right now, there is a Warhammer Open event taking place where there's fantastic games of Warhammer
Palm
being played
Springs.
all
Peter
weekend. And as soon as
Turbo.
we're done here, we're going to throw back to the team out there who will be commentating on fantastic
The
games of Warhammer
petulant
40,000, I believe.
man-child
So
returns.
jump
I don't
aboard
know
and
the
have a look at
implications
what's
of
going on
this.
there by all means. really what remains, I guess, is to say thanks to everybody who's made this work.
Yeah.
We've got a team of people who've operated all the cameras and all the
Self-action
streaming
Chaos
equipment
Space
and
Marines,
covered
but
off
they
your
don't get the
questions. Thank you to all
spotlight
of
usually
you.
since
Eddie,
they're
thank
not
you
a
for keeping me company
specifically
making this
Chaos
work.
God
And I
themed
might have
army.
plans
Okay.
tonight otherwise, so it's been fun. It's been fun.
And the most important people to thank all of you who've chosen to spend a little bit of time being as excited about Warhammer as we are and joining in on this preview. It has been a delight. We'll be back in a couple of months with the next preview, I think.
I think we're planning to do something from Adepticon in
Very
March.
excited about
Adepticon.
that.
See you guys there,
until
by
then,
the way,
thank you all
showing
so
up
much for
to
joining
it.
us. This has been a delight.
Big
and we
dinners
see you
will
again
be
very soon.
eaten.
Bye-bye.
Much magic will be played. See you at Adepticon. A lot of streaming from Vince's hotel room, probably. Old world must wait, I guess, until Adepticon. OBR finally got their bow squad. That's great. They got Super Shredder, a chariot whose in-game rules probably suck because all chariots suck, but it looked cool. 30k once again had way cooler models than 40k. Consistently, 30k looks better than 40k to me. A lot of space stuff happened here. And Blood Bowl came out looking gross as always, but people like that game, I guess. So hey, all right. Can't wait to sneak into that Warhammer show. Don't worry, just get a ticket or don't and play Magic. OBR had a cool release. Ogres at Adepticon for sure. Hey, that would be the soonest I would ever expect it, and I think that's too soon, but we'll see. We shall see. Anyway, chat, thanks for stopping by. I got another show tonight at 6 o'clock in approximately 3 hours. I got to do shit for it. So tune in then if you give a shit. If you don't, fuck off. But thanks for watching and have a nice day. And fuck off. I'm going to raid Plibit for whatever Sega bass fishing ass game she's playing. So stick around for that. And I will talk to you in like 3 hours. Get some big lunch. All right.